game like Ric Flair was to wrestling. Ain't no question, I'm trying to be a big name. Got them laying on the mat where I left them. Everybody want to be rich and famous. They want a house on the hill, no payments. I've been working hard, hear it in the dialogue. Figure for a leg like to anybody thinking that I'm wasted. Any of my time, better send a sign. Everybody telling me I'm crazy, but I'm borderline. Swear to God, I'm killing shit whenever I decide to rhyme. Walking out of my shoes, sight, you ain't feeling mine. Been in the studio all week, trying to hop on my dick, but there's no need. Bitch, you wasn't with me, woo, chopping in the ring. Not the time, cause it's mine, get a timepiece. Young track boy told him not to mess with me. Stomped the yard on him, I can tell them niggas step to me. A lot of people waiting on me just to see the best of me. I like to show a girl off, I keep it next to me. Who's speaking on my name, I don't want to hear a reply. Unless it's something positive, don't want to hear it now.
Future Wrestling Podcast, right back here. Back, once again, for the first time in a week and a half. But, Logan Myers, right back here with Jenna. Jenna, welcome back.
What is up, beautiful people? It's good to be back. Good to be back.
It's always good to be back, and we also have a really good guest. He is an independent professional wrestler around my area. This is Hoss Leonard, ladies and gentlemen, so please welcome him. Welcome, Hoss Leonard. How are you doing, sir?
Oh, thanks for having me. I'm doing pretty good. You guys?
Whoop, whoop. Happy to have you here.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Like I said, first show back in a week and a half, and we're here to do the Indy Interviews with Hoss Leonard, and he's also staying around to do the prediction show with me and Jenna for NXT Takeover Chicago 2 and Money in the Bank for Sunday night. So, guys, let's get started. Hoss Leonard, you know, when I first met you at my very first wrestling show, I was, like, intimidated. Like, I didn't want to get near you.
Oh, yeah?
I didn't want to get Hossy bombed.
What was so intimidating? Just the size, the tattoos. Because for the people listening and watching, I'm about 6 foot, about 445, 450, and I've got some tribal tattoos on my arms and my back. So, yeah, what was the intimidating part on your side, Logan?
It wasn't the size. It wasn't the size. It wasn't the height. It was just when you looked at Hoss Leonard, you knew somebody was going to get their ass kicked.
Well, see, that's what I
get their ass.
See, that's what I like to do, because there's too many people running around saying wrestling's fake, and when you watch Hoss Leonard, you may go into the match thinking it's fake, but by the end of the match, you're gonna know I hit that guy. So you're not gonna think that.
Ask Mad Melvin.
Exactly.
Hoss, the very first question I have for you tonight is straight up, what brought you to the wrestling?
I think this is the answer that a lot of people say. I grew up watching wrestling. I always wanted to do it, and then I found out there was a training school in my town at the time, and when I signed up, I got a special 6-month deal for $600 compared to like the $3,000 a year normally, so I couldn't pass that up, and I went there. I did a few trainings, didn't really stick around, and after a few months, I'd say about 6 to 8 months, I started going to all the trainings, all the little shows, and just slowly start liking it more. The boys,
Thank you.
There's no better friendship than the locker room, honestly.
I agree with you on that, because I've been backstage a lot of times with you and a lot of the boys, and the first thing that comes to mind is the locker room presence that you bring to the table is the main thing that caught my eye.
Yeah, thanks for that. I mean, we're all going out there, and I'm gonna pull the curtain back a little bit, not too far, but we all go out there, and like I said, we do put our bodies on the line. So the more you, and it's weird to say, but the more you are constantly with somebody, the more you fight them, the more you guys perform in front of the crowds with people, the closer you guys get. And I mean, there's been a lot of people who I consider more family than my actual family that I've wrestled with.
And that's see, that's one thing that I can also agree with you on, and a lot of the guys have told me this before when I talk to them. You know, the wrestling business is not just going out there and performing for the fans. It's about having a family as well in the business.
Exactly.
To me, you're like the Undertaker of a lot of the locker rooms, because you just bring that like locker room leadership. And yeah, see, Hoss Leonard, when I've been to a lot of the shows and backstage and all that, there was not a day that went by on any of the shows that I saw Hoss Leonard go out there before the show, hanging out with the boys, going out there, doing the wrestling, putting his body on the line, and then just leave. What he did was he went out, did his business, and stuck around for not just the boys, but the family, and also tearing down and, putting the ring up every single time.
Yeah, and that's something I was taught in training and in wrestling school. Paying your dues, and nobody wants to take the ring down, especially after the show, especially after a long day, because the shows, people don't realize, like for us, it's usually a 6 to 8 hour day from when we get to the building, put the ring up and everything. So everybody's worn out by the end of the actual show itself. But it's one of those things where complaining and not doing it's not going to happen. You might as well just, balls up and do it yourself. And first off, thanks for that Undertaker comment. I definitely don't feel that way. I definitely have no I'm glad people have a good opinion of me in the locker room, but it's nowhere like that. But it's actually funny you mentioned the locker room, because one of the most recent shows I was at, the guy I was facing, I had never wrestled before. Everybody in the locker room's like, yeah, you better hope Hoss likes you, because even though I have that leadership quality, it seems I have a reputation of somebody you don't want to get on the wrong side of. And it doesn't happen often, but I have no problem putting somebody in their place if that's how it has to be.
Yeah, and part of the reason why I mentioned, like the locker room leadership, and I'll get to Jenna to get a question out to you in just a second, but the last thing I want to say about it is, every time I was backstage, Hoss would come up, shake my hand, ask me how I was doing, and if I needed advice on something, he was there for me, and that cannot be said for everybody. And I appreciate it every single time I came to a show, and you brought that presence, and it felt good. And I felt, just like I was not just there, but I was a part of the show. And I think you bring that to all the fans.
Yeah, and, I definitely try. One, the fans always come first, whether it's a heel or face. What you do in the ring, I feel, is different than what you do in the, outside the ring. These people are paying to see you, so they're taking their time, their money to see you. So give them every chance, every opportunity they want. If a fan wants to have a chat with you, even as a bad guy, we're at a point in wrestling where people know, but just talk with the people, be a guy. You don't hate actors when they play a bad guy in a movie. You get entertained by their specific work, so don't be a jerk when somebody comes up wanting to talk to you. For some people, they have no problem just jumping right into this world, and whatever you say goes. So don't just talk to them the way you want to be talked to. You know what I mean?
Yeah, treat others the way you want to be treated.
Yeah, exactly. Like, everybody who got into this business at one point or another was a huge fan. They had the dreams. And if you could go back to, Hoss Leonard at age 8 and a professional wrestler, an indie wrestler came up, I'd be all starstruck and everything. So would you want that 8-year-old to get turned down? No. So just have a conversation with somebody.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly.
A really good way of looking at it. That's a really good way of describing it.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want that 8-year-old to get their feelings hurt? Of course you don't.
No.
Jenna.
It's a really good point. Yes.
Do you have any questions for Hoss Leonard?
Actually, anytime I interview or talk to someone who works in any kind of performance industry, be it wrestling, theater, whatever, I always ask for a story. What is the best fan interaction you've ever had? Like, everyone has those moments in their job where you're like, oh my gosh, this is why I do this. This
Right.
is why I love what I do. Can you tell us about a time where you had a moment like that where you were just like, oh my gosh, thank you for reminding me exactly why I do this?
Definitely, and as soon as you started mentioning it, I started thinking about it. A few years ago, I was up at this campground called Big Bear Lake. It's like on a
California?
No, Big Bear. It's West Virginia. It's like near the Ohio border, I guess, like at the other end of Maryland. And we do shows up there for Memorial Day, 4th of July, and Labor Day weekend. And I can't remember which one it was, but there was this little boy, I'd say about between 5 and 7-ish, and he had some type of mental handicap. I can't remember what it was exactly. Some type of autism, I believe. Mm-hmm. His stepmom had talked to the promoter and said, yeah, this is like his first show, and he usually gets really scared around like loud noises, new people, yada yada, but this kid just showed so much excitement. And during our intermission, we actually had all the wrestlers in the back, even the bad guys, come out and take a picture with this little boy, and it's on my Facebook right now, so Logan, I'll tag you in it once I find it. But I mean, just a smile on this little boy's face, who is usually nervous, doesn't like loud noises, and just this group of guys he's never met before put the biggest smile on his face, and that was definitely the greatest. I love entertaining the kids, especially if I can entertain a kid with sorry, there's an echo. If I can entertain a kid or just anybody with some type of mental disability, that's what I go for, because for that 2 to 3 hours there at a wrestling show, and I'm
and self-promotion. And sometimes people, you can promote yourself, but you need people like that.
Yeah.
All right, before we move on, I actually do want you guys to promote yourselves. So, first off, ladies first, Jenna, where can they check you out in all your social medias? And so anybody in the chat who wants to follow you, where can they check you out?
Okay, you can find me on YouTube. I am Jenna Lee's Beauty Slam, the home of lipstick chick kicks. I am the internet's girl next door. I also do 2 weekly live streams on YouTube on Wednesdays and Friday nights at 10:30 Central Time. Definitely come and hang out. It's just us hanging out and talking about whatever's on our minds. A lot of times it's just we say it's our therapy session, but it's fun. You can also find me on Twitter at MissJenna_Lee, and on Snapchat I'm Cute Cat Lady, and I do random little mini vlogs throughout the day. And of course, you can find me hanging out with these fine fellas on Future Entertainment and Saturday nights on Grapple Vision with Saturday Night Myers.
Thank you, Jenna. And for everybody to know, Future Wrestling Podcast is going back to Future Wrestling Podcast. I will be making a brand new channel for everything else, for the NFL show and all that. So be looking out on Twitter for that. Hoss Leonard, go ahead, tell the great fans where they can check you out and follow you and all that good stuff.
All right. Well, you can definitely hit me up on Twitter and Instagram at HossyBomb. You can also hit me up on Twitch at TwitchTV or twitch.tv/HossyBomb. And then also, if you want to check out any of my future matches coming up, you can go to HossyBomb.com as well.
Hossy Bomb. I like that.
Thank you.
I've seen plenty of them.
I haven't unleashed one since I've come back, but it's brewing.
It's never say never.
Exactly.
Now, Hoss, I did have a question for you on this one.
Okay.
When I was doing the Indie Rewind, I did an interview with you, and I always said that it was one of my best. What is your favorite part about doing an interview like that?
I think everybody, when they watch something, whether it's TV, movie, wrestling, they always want to get that inside peek. And I like just giving people just that little glimpse.
I like that. I can't remember what the exact interview was about. I can't remember.
Yeah, it's been so long.
Man, it's been like 2 years since I've done an interview like that, and I can't believe I did the Indie Rewind technically since 2014. So, one of the main things is I know this is probably one of the hardest questions to answer, but who is your favorite to ever work with in wrestling, like in a match?
So one of the ones I love wrestling, at least in this area, is definitely Bobby Starr. He has worked for the WWE and WCW. He's just so smart. He knows what the crowd wants, what the crowd doesn't want. He knows how to pace things. A lot of times when newer guys start doing things, they do things way too fast, and he has no problem getting you to go at a pace where the crowd will like it so much better. And I mean, not even just the wrestling part of it, just stories I've heard Bobby say, just they're hilarious. And that's the best part about meeting, these big names or guys that have been on the road, is don't worry about an autograph, don't worry about getting a picture, get stories, because they will tell you stories you would not be able to believe happen.
Exactly. I love doing the interview with Bobby Starr. The cool part is, Jenna, we will be having Bobby Starr on a future show. He will be doing an interview with us.
Awesome.
So,
I love it.
Be looking.
So, whoa. She keeps saying awesome. Is that right, Logan?
Yeah.
So, Jenna,
Yeah.
not to be rude, but when you're talking to Hoss Leonard, the word's actually awesome. Okay.
Awesome. Okay. Sir. Yes, sir. Duly noted.
Thank you.
Yeah. And also, the
I've already followed you on Twitter and tagged you and stuff, buddy.
I saw. Thank you.
I'm on the ball, buddy. I am awesome.
Yes, you are.
I still, to this day, think he owns Hoss's Steakhouse near me.
Dude, speaking of that, did you know, their shirts started saying HOSM, and I got so mad. I'm like, they stole my damn word.
And remember, I told you that. I remember when I sent you that picture. They had Hossum on.
Yeah.
The
when I saw that, I flipped. I'm like, are you kidding me?
That's gimmick infringement.
Exactly.
Good food, but damn, really, Hosses?
I would hardly consider stealing someone's
Hashtag.
go-to catchphrase.
Yeah.
That's not very awesome.
It's not. That is not how we do things in Hollywood.
I've never been to Hollywood yet, but
really? I could have sworn I've invited you.
You invited
I don't know.
me and Eddie.
I've heard a lot of pretty blondes have been there, but
yeah. There's this picture. Right?
Oh, but I will tell you, Hoss, it's so close to when everybody asks me, "Do you own Logan's Roadhouse?"
See, I do try to use that when I go to Hoss's. So I'm like, I own this place, right? And that usually doesn't get me my free meal. And then
at least y'all have names that connect to reputable business. People are like, your name's Jenna? Oh, like Jenna Jameson?
Oh wow.
No.
You're like, that's the type of thing that makes me swipe left.
Yes. Fortunately, Jenna Marbles has blown up, and people will say, like, Jenna Marbles? I'm like, yes. Yeah.
Exactly like her.
Just like her, yes. Beautiful, charming, funny, all of those things. Yes, that's me, yes. But watch her instead.
Now, Hoss, you said Bobby Starr's like one of your favorite to work with. Is there a specific match that is your favorite that you've been in?
All together or just with him?
Well, all together.
It would have to be the barbed wire match I had with Kenny Craig for the PWS heavyweight title.
Ooh.
Oh,
barbed wire match with.
Yeah.
I missed that show. I never got to go to that one.
I'll send you the link. But yeah, I ended up whipping him with the barbed wire, and it ended up getting stuck in the side of his skin.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Making that Randy Orton land on the tax face.
Right.
Ooh.
Yeah.
A kinky spanking brutal. Of the ultimate.
Yeah, that was definitely a brutal one.
Now, OJ, you're here?
I am here.
Oh, for some reason it showed blue, and then after that I tried to add you and it was pink.
Yeah, no, it's this is it.
Awesome. Jenna, Halsey.
Yes.
This is OJ. He is. We do have a big announcement that our morning show, he will be the co-host to. It's called The Morning OJ with Logan Myers.
Sweet.
How's it going? How's it going, everybody?
Yeah.
So one of our top
Jenna,
fans.
nice to meet you. Hoss, nice to meet you as well.
Is this OJ
nice
from the chat?
Yes, sir.
This is OJ from the chat. Yep.
Yes, sir. It's
Oh,
good to have
cool! It's so nice to hear your voice.
That's the cool thing about communities is like you chat with all these people so much you really start to you guys start to know each other. That's why these online communities are so awesome.
Yeah.
That's why I started doing live streams with my Sparkle Army, because I was talking to them in the comments and they're all incredibly funny and likable. It's like, you guys would love each other. So yeah, I started doing these live streams, and now people will pop in and everybody's like, oh hey John, oh hey Michelle.
It's no more about Jenna. It's they're just talking to themselves now.
And it's awesome. We've had a love connection. Great. The very first Sparkle Army couple. I'm very excited about this.
Nice.
I'm gonna make them name their first child Jenna. They don't know it yet.
Now, Hoss, I have another. Well, not really a question, but it's a comment. You remember my brother, my little brother. Brandon. Now he's as taller than me, and it's pathetic. But he said that his favorite match that he's ever seen was you was inside the steel cage with I think 5 or 6 other guys at a CPW show at the fairgrounds.
Okay.
And he said that you were just unstoppable in that match.
Well, first off, that's awesome he remembered that match. Second off, it sucks I didn't win that match. Thirdly, cheap little plug, our show at Big Bear Lake, July 1st, the day before my birthday, we're actually having that match again. So, yeah, it is returning. But that match, it was such a cluster of a match. The ring wasn't that big to begin with, and we had 6 or 7 guys in it. And I'm pretty sure everybody at one point had their ankle rolled because people just kept landing left and right.
Oh, see, and speaking of the ankle injury, I do remember you getting injured on the ankle. Another comment that I wanted to say was when I was mentioning in the beginning of the show, you never saw a show where Hoss Leonard would just do the match and not tear the ring down. Even after getting injured, what was Hoss Leonard doing? Tearing down that ring.
Doing the best he can. Yeah, I mean, like I said, when I might trying to see how I have to say this. let's just say I've moved on from where I trained. Let's put that as the nicest way possible. But I definitely believe in the old school roots where you pay your dues. You're never too good to put a ring up. I mean, hell, there's pictures of that ref Charles Robinson from WWE taking the ring down. There's recent photos a few years ago of Luke Gallows taking the ring down. So, if they can take the ring down, a local indie guy from West Virginia, he's not good enough to take the ring down. And sadly, this business it's filled with egos. I have no problem staying humble just because it's the type of guy I am. So, like I said earlier, it needs done, and you're just gonna make the boys not like you, and you're not gonna have promoters like you if you keep bailing on taking down or putting up the rings. So stay on people's good side. Don't burn bridges, and just pay what you owe.
Exactly. OJ,
Sounds like pretty solid life advice,
Right.
Yeah. OJ, I forgot to let you plug your stuff. Go ahead and plug where the fans can check you out on any of the social medias.
Well, I really don't have much to plug. Guess you can find me on Twitter at OJ the Juice Man. Actually, it's just OJ the Juice, and Juice is spelled Jewce.
Thank you, sir. I know you were thrown into this randomly, but any questions for Hoss Leonard since he's worked in the independent? Any questions come to mind?
I think a question I would have would be that it's always fascinated me, like you were talking about with egos in the business. I just wanted to get your take on why you think it's so prevalent, especially in professional wrestling.
Because, wrestling itself, you're putting yourself over. A lot of people get in the business thinking they're getting that WWE contract. So, when you have enough people telling you you're good, you start believing you're good. I've always been the type of person that great people don't say they're great. They have people say they're great for them. So if other people are saying you're great for doing what you're doing, why change what you're doing at all? And it's some people. It's just like in high school. Some people thought they were so great because they had the best lines in the school play. It's the exact same thing. You know what I mean?
I gotcha, 100%. So it's pretty much just like any other workplace.
Exactly.
I think the final question for me for the Indy interview with Hoss Leonard is, Hoss, the question that I have for you is, if there was a young kid or anybody that wanted advice on getting into the business, or when they first start in the business and a little scared at first to do it, is there any advice that you would give them?
So the first there's a couple pieces of advice. The first type is, make sure this is what you want to do. It's not even about you getting hurt or hurting somebody else. It's you're wasting someone else's time when they could be better in themselves. There's so many people who go through training and wrestling schools who don't last, a few weeks, a few months. Do some studying, see if you really want to go through it, because, like I said earlier, people think wrestling's fake, but you go through just as much conditioning and other stuff as, the NFL and, not the NBA, but, other sports. So just make sure you want to do it. Make sure you can handle everything. Make sure your athletic ability is, it's enough to get you by, because, like I said, there's times where they'll do wrestling drills until somebody throws up, and not everybody, and I don't want to sound like a jerk, but not everybody's meant to be a wrestler. If you love the business, but for some reason you can't compete as a wrestler or whatnot, try to be a manager. Try, like Logan does, try to just interact on the outside doing interviews. You can be part of the show without being part of the show. And honestly, even some people can't even do that. So, like, if you can't compete and you're not good at building bridges and relationships like you, Logan, unfortunately the only spot for you is in the crowd. And some people just cannot stand or cannot hear that they're not good enough to do something that not everybody's built out to do.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, if I had any advice, it is, if you can't do, like, if your dream is to be a professional wrestler and that, doesn't come out to be something that you can do, there's always a way to get into the business no matter what. See, just because I had a hip injury and I really wanted to be a wrestler, that didn't stop me. Don't let anything stop you from at least getting in the business if that's what you want to do.
Right.
There's all kinds of ways. I mean, I've done commentary. I'm doing podcasts now. I've done interviews. I've promoted wrestling events near me. And
honestly, sometimes, you're doing more than you think you are just by telling a guy, hey, good match. Because, when the fans are out there, they're cheering. The fans are going to cheer and boo for specific spots for specific guys. So if it's all quiet and, everybody's leaving and somebody's like, hey, good job. I might have thought I sucked, but hey, I entertained this guy. So, it might help the guy get through the night, even if you're just a fan. So, just because you're not, like I said before, not part of the show doesn't mean you're not part of the show.
Exactly. I can agree with that 100%. All right, moving on to, we're going to do the NXT Takeover Chicago 2018. We're going to do the prediction show around the board. Before we start the predictions, is there any expectations that you want to see in the show?
See, I haven't, I'll be honest, I haven't watched NXT for a while. I listen on that podcast I was telling you about. It's hard to say if you want an expectation from NXT because I already feel like they put a better show on than the main brand. So, I mean, yeah, just have the right finishes. That's all I can say. But I'll be right back.
OJ, Jenna, any expectations?
Yes.
Go ahead, Jenna.
You broke up. Do what?
I said, is there any expectations for the NXT Takeover Chicago?
This is going to sound incredibly pessimistic, but I'm expecting it to be so much better than Money in the Bank. Just by and large.
You're in agreement with Hoss Leonard.
Yeah. I think I've recently really gotten back into watching the episodes a little more closely and really following them, and just there's so much. The storylines are more coherent, and the wrestling is just as good on the main roster. Maybe what I'm more into is the fact that I'm actually like emotionally invested, in the Undisputed Era. I'm emotionally invested in what happens, Lacey Evans, I am emotionally invested in what happens with her. Like, I'm in, you know what I mean? When the storyline, when you're into it. And I'm just having such a hard time finding an emotional investment in anything going on in the main roster. I love these guys and gals. Everyone knows they're world-class athletes. I will, of course, watch the show, but I don't have that. I'm not going to jump out of my seat screaming and cheering over anything like I probably will NXT.
Yeah, I literally was telling Logan that exact statement before you joined. They have the world's best athletes. Let's be honest. And the fact that their creative team is, I'm not a huge fan of Sanity or the Authors of Pain, but even because they're not debuting because creative has nothing for them. Like, how do you not have nothing for these guys you just brought up?
Right. You control bringing them up. Yeah. How did you not have anything? Yeah. Agreed.
And the worst thing about the main roster, and this is horrible for me to say, as excited as I was about AJ Nakamura at WrestleMania. I don't want this match at Money in the Bank. They have drugged this awesome feud into the ground, and it's just so bad now.
Yeah, mutual kicks to the junk do not make for deep storytelling.
No, absolutely not. And the fact that even in this last man standing match, which I'm not making my prediction, but there's a chance that this one could end in a draw as well, it's why I'm not excited. Like, they had such an awesome thing with this, and creative just burned it out.
And it feels like we're saying that, it used to be a fairly common refrain, like, man, WWE really dropped the ball on that. Mm-hmm. But I asked this on a stream the other day. How many times just a week do we catch ourselves saying, boy, WWE really dropped the ball on that, didn't they? Man, WWE really dropped the ball on that, didn't they?
There is literally a podcast I listen to every week. It's called What's Wrong with Wrestling, and it's on Tuesdays. They release it after SmackDown, and it's literally they go over Raw and SmackDown, and they do say what's good about it, but for the most part, they're just like, this was bad. But they do it in a funny way. On Saturdays, they also have the What's Wrong with NXT podcast just going over it, but the fact that there are podcasts letting you know what's wrong with the show is a huge problem.
Right, and I always used to laugh about the Wrestle Crap guys and how they had the Wrestle Crap books and the Wrestle Crap book of lists and the Death of WCW book, and I thought, man, that's rough. And now I feel like we're gonna, we can read back over the Attitude Era and cringe at some of the really god awful stuff from that era, and some of the bad stuff from like the Ruthless Aggression era, but when this era becomes a part of the past, what are we going to cringe over, and what are we going to or what will look better over time, Yeah,
like that's the thing, like you said, going back to like the Attitude Era, there's a lot of stuff you watch now, you're like, why was that entertaining back then? But it was entertaining enough to hide the bad stuff where it's still a nostalgia thing. Right now, I don't think there's anything that can, really make you look back 10 years from now being like, you know what? WWE in 2018 was awesome. It was phenomenal. No pun intended to AJ, but, like...
yeah. AJ's only one person. He can only do so much.
Mm-hmm.
All right. OJ, what is your expectations?
I mean, I generally don't follow the week-to-week product of NXT, but I do try to catch the takeovers whenever they happen, and I do walk away usually from takeovers saying, why don't I watch NXT every week? So pretty much sentiments agreed with everybody else that it's way better than the actual product, even just from the takeovers that I've watched.
And honestly, I can answer that question, OJ, at least from my point of view. Like you said, you leave takeover and you're like, that's awesome. Why don't I watch it every week? It's because they space out their, takeover events so far away. You got like 6-7 weeks of filler, and you're like, none of this stuff matters until the next takeover. So you lose interest because nothing big's going to happen from like week 2 to 4, and then they're going to start slowly building that matchup again. But I think if they gave us more pay-per-views, at least...
See, I'm the opposite. That's why I like NXT,
really?
Is that we're not getting hit over the head with pay-per-views constantly, because that's what, like, I feel like pay-per-view exhaustion is what's killing the main roster right now. It's hard to make anything feel special. Literally, you have WrestleMania, and less than a month later, hell, before WrestleMania even ended, they were already advertising back. And this is supposed to be the be-all, end-all, the granddaddy of them all. And it's like, oh, by the way,
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree on that, but like I said,
pay-per-view exhaustion is destroying us on the main roster.
Yeah, that 2 pay-per-view a month they had last year was just draining. But like they need some type of like nice median, in that maybe a couple more pay-per-views, not necessarily one a month, but going 2.5 months without payoff, you're either not using the guys for a couple weeks and people forget, or you're just doing the same thing over and over again, and you're like, okay, why am I watching this? But yeah, I mean, the takeovers itself are awesome. I almost wish that they didn't even do NXT throughout the week, as because even though I feel that's the better product, but if they only let you watch the takeovers and have everything else like as a house show, I know it wouldn't make sense storyline wise, but you get so excited, and then I don't think anybody would really have anything to say, except then it would just be, we don't get enough of this.
Also, the takeovers are only 2.5 to 3 hours, and they're 5 quality matches instead of there's 10 matches on Money in the Bank and there's only 5 on takeover. I mean, that's going to go Money in the Bank is going to go for 4.5, whatever, 3.5, 4 hours. And most of it's going to be filler, where it's I feel like the takeovers, every single match matters.
Yeah.
Do any of you guys watch New Japan?
Mm-hmm.
I watched their Dominion show from last week with Kenny Omega and Jericho. They didn't fight, but they were on the card. And it was a 3.5, 4 hour show, but it was exciting all the way through. You start hearing WrestleMania is going to be 7.5 hours, or SummerSlam 6.5 hours. Going into it just knowing it's that long, you're I'm not going to get excited for 6.5 hours of this stuff.
No, it's like going to a shift at work.
Yeah.
Yeah. By the way, I don't know if anybody else knows, but Money in the Bank actually starts at 7 p.m. Eastern, and pre-show starts at 6 now. It is now
Because they're adding the extra hour?
They are adding the extra hour due to the fact that Money in the Bank is now it's
top
not
5.
Top 5 considered with WrestleMania, Royal Rumble.
Survivor Series.
Yep. So we're getting.
I think this was the first Royal Rumble since I was 9 that I did not stay up and watch the entire thing for.
Yeah. See, another thing that irritates me right now is you're adding an extra hour to the show for Money in the Bank, and you're putting a championship match on the pre-show with the tag team of Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson versus Luke Harper and Eric Rowan. Really? It should be on the main card. It's a title match.
And you know what I heard about those pre-shows? When they still pump out DVDs for WrestleMania, I don't think on the actual regular disc the pre-show is on the regular disc. It's always on the bonus stuff. Even though to the crowd it's just a WrestleMania match. You know what I mean?
Right. It's one continuous show for them, but yeah.
Yeah.
It's weird. And let's get started with the NXT Takeover predictions, and we're gonna go around the board. We're gonna have Jenna, we're gonna have Hoss, and then OJ, and then I'll end the prediction on the match, so that we know we're in. For the NXT Women's Championship, Shayna Baszler versus Nikki Cross. Who do you got, Jenna?
Shayna Baszler. She's just brutal. She's just brutal. I'm not wild about her. I think she's a little rough around the edges, and I know that's kind of her thing. That's kind of how she wants to be presented. But I feel like her character almost feels like Diet Ronda Rousey. Yeah. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
Just kind of like she's junior league, or like the Ronda Rousey understudy. And she's a badass, and she's awesome in the ring. But there's just something missing with her, and I don't know if it's promo skills, because what I've seen, she's not terrible. I can't put my finger on what it is about her that just rubs me the wrong way. But yeah, I don't have high hopes for Nikki Cross. They left her behind. They separated her from the rest of her tribe, so to speak, and she's just kind of felt like she was in limbo ever since, to me.
A little overshadowed, but at the same time, I think it's good that they kept her on NXT due to the fact that you know, she doesn't need to be in that stable because she's over no matter what. And she's a scary, scary woman. But Hoss, who do you got for your pick?
Yeah, as much as I want to say it, I really feel like they're trying to do something with Ronda and Shayna, because you always hear them mention their best friends, yada yada. And honestly, it feels like Nikki Cross was just thrown into this, like, we need a competitor for TakeOver, and I guess she's the most known. So she just doesn't seem like the one that's gonna take the Queen of Spades title.
Mm-mm.
All right. OJ, who do you got?
I'm probably going to say Shayna Baszler as well. I know they just brought in Ronda's two other friends, and Jessamine Duke, and can't remember the other's name, but yeah, I think Baszler's probably going to hold that title for a while.
See, part of me wants to say Nikki Cross because we need a legitimate person that is relevant right now to take the title off Shayna Baszler, and there's not a whole lot of talent that you're going to be able to throw in there right now until you establish them. Other than Nikki Cross, the only person I can think of is Candice LeRae to take the title off her. Is there anybody that can be established and more psycho and able to like defeat Shayna Baszler right now?
Yeah, I mean, I just don't. See, that's the bad thing about constant call-ups too. Like when the WWE network, right? When the network first hit, NXT had like Neville, Sami Zayn, Bo Dallas, Sasha, Charlotte, Bayley, all these huge names down there, and then call-up after call-up after call-up, and now you're just like, who do they really have that can be entertaining and a legit threat? And right now, I don't think they have one.
No, and that's why I kind of think, maybe Nikki Cross can take the title off of her, have a rematch, and then Shayna Baszler, defeats her. That's the only thing that I can think of that can actually, say, there's a legitimate person that can defeat her, because there's only going to be so much that Shayna Baszler can do and people to face right now. So until you establish the new people that are coming in, which I think they've done, officially signed everybody that was in the Women's Classic, Mae Young Women's Classic from last year. I think
what about Kairi Sane? Do you think she's even a legit competitor to Shayna Baszler right now? I don't think they've given us enough to see from her. As good as she did in that Classic, and I only saw clips, but she just doesn't seem like it doesn't seem like she's either A, getting a good push, or B, she doesn't seem like she's adapting to the WWE style.
See, yeah, when she faced Shayna Baszler at the Classic for the finals, yeah, she was established and she was a legitimate a contender to beat her.
Mm-hmm.
Now, no, it's just she's done.
She almost feels cartoony.
Yeah. And that's one thing you need to decide is if you want to be cartoony, gimmicky for the kids, or you actually want to be there and kick some butt. It's hard to pull it off and do both, especially up in the WWE.
Mm-hmm.
I can agree.
I can agree.
I can agree.
I was going to say, no, it's a combination of I concur and I agree. I can agree.
I can agree.
Hashtag I can agree.
There you go. Get it trending.
Let's get it trending.
That's right. Trending worldwide.
That's as bad as when they were trending cereal Vapus for me.
Oh, wow.
It was funny, though.
There's a guy here in Mobile who calls himself the statutory vapist.
Okay.
He is not clever.
Not clever at all. Alright, next match. It is the tag team match for the NXT Tag Team Champions. Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch taking on Kyle O'Reilly and Roderick Strong of the Undisputed Era. Jenna, ladies first, who do you got?
Oh, okay. I'm a big fan of the Undisputed Era. I've got to go with them. I do. I like Danny Burch, but I don't know. I see the Undisputed Era as much as I want to see them kept together, because I think there's strength in numbers, and I think these 4 guys in particular really do gel as a unit and work well as a team. I see WWE breaking them apart much sooner rather than much later, and yeah, but I see my non-existent money's on the Undisputed Era. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd agree on that too. It seems Triple H really loves these indie Ring of Honor guys. The fact that, just like, Rude, Samoa Joe, AJ, they got to keep their names. That obviously means they're getting a decent push, of success. And once again, it comes to the fact that I don't think the other 2 are legit contenders to actually take it from them. Honestly, I'll just say this now, that for the most part, every champion I see in NXT, I don't see a real solid, legit threat that storyline-wise can take their belts. Later down the road, there's a few titles that there are legit people, but they're just occupied right now where it's not even in the question. So yeah, I'm going to say the Undisputed Era.
Yep, I agree. I actually really like Roderick Strong. I'm glad to see that he's getting a match on the show, so I'll be watching. But yeah, Undisputed Era.
I do love me some. I've been a fan of Roderick Strong for a long, long time.
For me, I like the fact that Roderick Strong has gotten his resurrection for his career in NXT, and I've said this before. It was a shock when he turned on Pete Dunne in that tag team match, and
is it safe to say that he shocked the system?
Yeah, he definitely shocked the system. Definitely, that was perfect, OJ. I would say I have to agree with Hoss on the fact that Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch, yeah, they're not legitimate threats right now. But there's plenty of tag teams now in NXT, and there's plenty of contenders to go around, and just right now I think it's just filler for future SummerSlam, So I gotta say that's my opinion. So next match on the card though is actually Johnny Gargano versus Tommaso Ciampa, Chicago Street Fight. Jenna, who do you got?
Man, this is... I've gone back and forth with this one, because I genuinely have pulled for both of these guys for years. I love both of these guys. This is going to be one of those who I want to win versus who I think is going to win type predictions. I want to see Johnny Gargano win, but I believe that Tommaso Ciampa is going to win. I can't even give you like a legitimate reason why. It's just one of those gut feeling things,
Yeah, I can agree with that. Hoss, who do you got and why?
What's the next takeover after this? Like, what's the big pay-per-view it's milking off of? Is it SummerSlam?
Yeah, SummerSlam.
Okay, so I think Ciampa's going to win this. They can do one more huge epic match at the SummerSlam takeover.
I agree. OJ, go ahead and then I'll give my comment.
Yeah, I think you got to give it to Ciampa. Have it 1-1, and then probably at TakeOver Brooklyn or whatever, they do a steel cage match or something to end the feud.
go ahead and I'll call it as it is. You guys agree with them doing one more match after that, and just continue to build and milk that feud, because no matter what, it's not getting stale, and it's just getting better and better every time. Okay. I'm calling it now. Tommaso Ciampa wins at this NXT, and the match gets called. Johnny Gargano gets the loss because of Candice LeRae.
Now, let me throw this one at you guys. What do you think the chances are that at the end of this match, Ciampa hurts Gargano to get a huge stipulation for the final match? Do you think that's happening, or do you think they've gone to that well too many times?
No, I think that's what that feud specifically needs. It doesn't, just a plain one-on-one match just wouldn't make sense with how, intense and big the match and the feud has become. I wouldn't mind a 3 Stages of Hell match for NXT. That'd be the first time ever.
I was thinking, because they haven't done a Iron Man match in NXT, have they? They've done 2 out of 3.
Yes.
They have.
They did Sasha and Bailey, I believe.
No, but I'm saying for the men they haven't, though, right?
Yeah, I don't think they have. No.
Okay, so I was going to say maybe it'd be like an hour-long Iron Man match, but didn't their last TakeOver match go like 45 minutes as it was?
Yeah, it did.
So at that point, the Iron Man match wouldn't be that much more impressive. So I don't think it'll be an Iron Man match, and I don't think it's going to be... It's got to be something different, like...
3 Stages of Hell?
Hell, let it be a bull rope match. That'll be fine.
I mean, I wouldn't mind the 3 Stages of Hell match, like legit. Maybe like a singles match, a hardcore match, and then a steel cage match.
I don't know. I almost have the idea that it'll be an I quit match. Like, he's gonna make Ciampa say I quit to finally end the feud.
And then that means he would get caught up to the main event.
Right.
But the only problem with that is, and I think you guys might agree with me on this, is Johnny Gargano still has plenty to do in NXT. He hasn't won a champion. There's still big.
He's been tag champ.
Well, tag team champion. I'm saying like singles.
Well, it's the same thing with Ciampa. Like, what other really, really good heel does NXT have besides Ciampa right now? They don't have any on his level at this point, and I feel until they actually groom somebody to, take that next step, they can't send him up yet. As bad, as much as he needs to be up on the main roster, like, WWE's already got decent heels, but I mean, Ciampa, he comes out with no music in that takeover match. The fans were chanting "F you, Ciampa."
Yeah, first time ever for that one.
Right. So I mean, I don't know if they're just ready to get that up in NXT quite yet.
See, I just thought of something. I don't think if they don't have another match after this, they did kind of tease it when Johnny Gargano interrupted EC3's match, and then he had that cocky, face impressions. I could see, since EC3 does not have a match at NXT TakeOver this Saturday, that he might cost Johnny Gargano the match.
Maybe. I mean, he is a sly guy.
So I could see that, and it could also build to. I think if... Well, I'll get to it. I'll get to it. In a few minutes when we do the prediction for the other match. But the next match I would have to say is probably going to be the match of the night. And I know there's a couple good matches that could be. But Ricochet taking on Velveteen Dream. Jenna, who do you got in mind?
Boy. I think this is going to be another one of those, like, who I want to see win versus who is going to win. And I don't even know if I can really divide it like that. I genuinely, I've always dug Ricochet. I've always liked his in-ring work. Velveteen Dream had to grow on me a bit. He really did. At first, I was just like, what is this? what really? What is? And the more I watch, the more I'm like, okay, all right. I had a Velveteen Rabbit growing up, and so all I could think of was my giant stuffed rabbit wrestling for the longest time. And he's won me over. He has. I still think consistently, I think Ricochet is a stronger worker. But I wouldn't be surprised if very soon Ricochet shows up on 205 Live.
Yeah.
Which that's not very promising for anyone's career, but
it's also good because look what happened with Buddy Murphy. But at the same time, I would have to. I'm going off on you on this one, Jenna. In ring work, Ricochet all day. But I'm not slighting what Velveteen Dream can do in the ring, because he's also really good in the ring. But gimmick-wise, right now, it's got to go to Velveteen Dream.
Oh, absolutely. He's a consummate showman through and through. I don't disagree with you there at all. Far more entertaining as just a character. Absolutely.
I'll get to it. Hoss, go ahead.
Yeah, I think this is probably going to be the hardest one on the card. I'm going to go with the Dream just because I feel deep down Ricochet is just that indie talent WWE signed just so he couldn't be competition. And I feel that, I mean, WWE's obviously going to give Patrick a huge push for making this stupid gimmick over like he is. And I feel the push is going to start slowly happening, whether it's that United States title or North American title or whatever. But I feel his push is coming before Ricochet's. Like I said, I think Ricochet is just a huge indie name that they didn't want competing against him.
Yeah, I can.
Makes sense, yeah.
Definitely makes sense on that one. OJ, what do you think? Who do you got and why?
Management likes him. I'm going to go with Velveteen Dream. Should be a good match no matter what. I think they're both great.
Oh, yeah, that match is going to steal the show. I can almost bet it.
My friend was actually telling me the other day that I guess they have odds on the star ratings of the matches now, and that's supposed to get about 4.5 stars, so we'll see.
We shall see. Everybody picked Velveteen Dream, and I'm not just doing this just because, but I think Ricochet definitely needs to win more than Velveteen Dream right now, due to the fact that Velveteen Dream walked out on Ricochet and he got the pin. He took the pin from Lars Sullivan. So I think Ricochet and Velveteen Dream, either way, they're going to steal the show. They're both going to come out looking good no matter who wins or loses. And that's one thing that I will tie thinking this personally, and this is my personal opinion. When it comes to having a really good match, no matter who wins or loses, sometimes the match itself speaks louder than who wins and loses in any match.
Yeah, and I'll actually go ahead and say this now. This match, I think, is going to have contender for Match of the Year for NXT.
Kind of like what happened with the guy we're going to talk about next, Velveteen Dream taking on
What, Aleister?
Yeah, Aleister Black, that happened last year. It was definitely Match of the Year candidate. And
yeah.
But next up is Aleister Black defending the NXT Championship against Lars Sullivan. Jenna, who do you got and why?
I love Aleister Black. I do. I've always dug the character. I've dug the way he has evolved it and it's grown. I don't see him leaving WWE, or leaving for the main roster, I should say, anytime soon. I think he's going to be a dominant champion for a little while now. Lars Sullivan is impressive and looks good in the ring, but I don't think this is his time just yet. I think this is gonna. I think that title's gonna stay on Black for at least a little while longer.
Okay, all right. First off, Aleister Black. So, first Hoss. Sorry, I'm getting all mixed up here.
No, it's all good. So like I said at the beginning, I haven't been watching NXT religiously for the past few weeks. Is Sullivan still going through his squash matches?
I think so. Besides the handicap match that he won against Ricochet and Velveteen.
So I don't want to say this, but I think they're going to give it to the monster Sullivan in this one. Yeah, I don't know. To me, it feels like Aleister Black. They don't know if they want him as mid or heavy card or main event. So I feel they're gonna let the monster run through until a huge face can come and take it. Who knows? But yeah, I think Sullivan's taking this one.
Okay, OJ, who do you got and why?
I'm gonna say Aleister Black. Lars Sullivan, he's a throwback character, but I just don't see them giving it to him yet.
See, and I agree with that as well. My pick is Aleister Black, but I'm not saying that Lars Sullivan's not going to dominate this match, but I think what ends that match is Lars Sullivan taking a couple of those finishers from Aleister Black. It's not going to take one. It's not going to take two. I think the third one's going to be where he, like, maybe on the second rope or second turnbuckle, jumps off and hits the Black Mass and beats Lars Sullivan. And see, this is what I was going to say earlier. I have a funny feeling that EC3 is going to cost the match for Johnny Gargano. That starts the feud for them two at the next takeover, and I think the Velveteen Dream and Ricochet's not going to be finished after this either. I think this isn't one off. This is going to continue to the next takeover, and I'm calling it now. Tommaso Ciampa will become the new number one contender against Aleister Black at the next takeover. So that's a bold prediction.
NXT's not doing a Money in the Bank, right? Like the match. Okay, just making sure.
No, and that's what's good about NXT.
Yeah.
Personally, is that Triple H doesn't jump off for just gimmick matches like that. You know, you'll see it once in a while. Like probably one of the best match of the year candidates was that match for the champion at the ladder match at the last takeover.
I heard that match was insane.
It was phenomenal. It was insane. It was
ridiculous.
Nobody in that match came out looking weak. I think everyone came out of that match looking strong, and everyone got their takes in the match, and that's what I love to see. Some of the matches, like we see at Money in the Bank, there's at least one guy that doesn't come out looking strong in that match.
That, or you can tell they were scared to do a spot and didn't want to do it.
Yeah, even though they're teasing that with Kevin Owens, which was weird, by the way. I'm going to mention that. 2 weeks ago on Monday Night Raw, Kevin Owens was scared to jump off the ladder and hit the frog splash on Finn Balor. This past Monday, he did it the very first time through a table on Braun Strowman. That makes no sense at all.
Yeah, well, the table's like 3 feet higher. It's not as far of a jump. Come on.
I mean, it's just weird.
Yeah, I hear you.
It was just weird. I didn't get it at all. But I guess we can move on to the Money in the Bank predictions part of this show.
Oh, happy joy.
OJ is gonna. OJ, better grab some OJ because this is your favorite. This is gonna be 10 times better than NXT.
Some OJ and vodka.
Oh, it's gonna be the best thing ever. Yeah.
I am gonna tell you guys, I do have a pick that I think you'll either be really surprised with or you're just gonna straight up disagree with. So it's actually the reason I wanted to do the prediction thing myself.
Okay. Awesome. Well, the very first match we're going to talk about is the pre-show match. The Bludgeon Brothers, Harper and Rowan versus Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson for the WWE SmackDown Live Tag Team Champions. Jenna, who do you got and why?
Oh, boy. I'm not wild about him, but I do think that they've invested a little time and a little cashola into the Bludgeon Brothers. While the gimmick does appear to be a little cornball, I like it. A little cornball, yeah. I have faith in it. It feels like old school wrestling to a degree. Like I could see them in a match with Demolition or the Heart. It feels very old school tag team. So for that reason alone, I dig it. Rowan and Harper are genuinely strong wrestlers. They're genuinely capable wrestlers. I feel like they're still being a little stifled by this whole we're gigantic men and grrr gimmick when both of them can actually get in the ring and go. But I think WWE is protecting them still. They want to get them over as the uber strong, untouchable, bad mofos. So yeah, Bludgeon Brothers all the way for me.
Awesome. Halsey, go ahead.
Yeah, I think it's the Bludgeon Brothers. Like you said, if they would just stay Harper and Rowan, it would have been so much better. I personally don't like the gimmick. I love the, especially Harper. I love watching him work, but I hate the gimmick. It's just so, like you said, corny. I honestly feel WWE is under the impression if this gimmick doesn't succeed, they're going right back to the Wyatt family again. And they need them to succeed in order to not keep going back to the Wyatt family.
And before I let OJ say that I wanted to jump off on that one. Harper and Rowan, I think, personally want this gimmick to work even more than the higher ups, due to the fact that they don't want to go back to that,
For a third time.
They want to branch out on their own together, and they want to be able to work and make this work. And that's one thing that I'm actually hoping. I know a lot of people don't like the Bludgeon Brothers gimmick. I don't mind it. It's something different that we haven't seen before. So in the long run, you gotta sometimes take the ball and run with it, and that's what they're doing. Kind of like what Velveteen Dream is doing with his gimmick. So, OJ, what do you think? Who do you got and why?
I actually really like the Bludgeon Brothers. They kind of remind me of like a character you'd find in like a Skyrim or one of those Middle-earth video games, and they're like twisted blacksmiths. Like you said, I agree with the throwback comparison. But I think that they'll probably beat Gallows and Anderson, which I think is unfortunate because I think if they put some time and work into Gallows and Anderson, they can make them some real contenders. But as of now, I don't see anybody beating Bludgeon Brothers except for probably when they bring Sanity up to the main roster. Or when they debut on SmackDown, I should say.
Oh, well. I got to go with the Bludgeon Brothers as well. Unfortunately, Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson is very underrated. They deserve more than what they are given. I don't see why the WWE isn't, throwing them, out there to the fans due to the fact that the star power that they have brought from the Bullet Club. I just don't understand it. It's like a lot of times you get the head scratcher, and this is the time.
Especially with this match being on the pre-show, I don't think that Gallows and Anderson stand a chance. Because when the Bludgeon Brothers finally do lose those belts, they're definitely going to try to make it feel like an important moment. And on the network, on the pre-show, I don't think it's going to happen.
Unfortunately.
That's a damn shame, because Gallows and Anderson they deserve infinitely better than what they've been dealt in WWE.
I'm going to throw a question out there during this prediction show for all three of you. What can the WWE do to fix Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson right now?
Give them what the fans want. Put them with AJ or put them with Finn. Don't call it that, but put the Bullet Club together. That's why they brought these guys over.
Mm-hmm. Every time you see AJ, Anderson, and Gallows on camera together, the crowd pops. Every time you see Finn Balor with the two of them, the crowd pops huge. You know, when Finn and AJ put on that little match just to fill in at that pay-per-view, and they did the Too Sweet at the end of the match, the crowd lost their minds for it.
Exactly.
You know,
for an impromptu
they don't
Too Sweet.
They don't have to act like NWO in 1996 and be up each other's behinds all the time, but make it known. Yeah, we're buddies. We're tight.
And the thing is,
and
a lot of WWE
every
fans,
once in a while have a run-in.
Yeah, a lot of WWE fans, not a lot, but for the most part, like the loyal WWE fans, they don't know what Bullet Club is. They know it's something, though, and when somebody in the crowd starts popping for it, they're going to pop for it, and they're going to know, hey, we need to get excited to see these guys together. That's why they brought them together. That's why they specifically signed them when they signed AJ.
And
makes sense.
Personally, I could see Luke Gallows, Carl Anderson, and Finn Balor together, but not as faces. I could see Finn Balor being a great heel. I could see Finn Balor becoming a bigger heel than what Shinsuke Nakamura is right now. Why is he smiling all the time? It just...
Yeah.
A lot of people criticize that, and it's kind of hard to not, be against what the fans think. The smiley, happy, jolly Finn Balor is not what we want. We want the Finn Balor that,
takes himself seriously.
Yes. See, and I just don't get it, and we haven't seen the Demon lately, and that's also a good thing. I see, that's one thing that I can actually say Vince McMahon is smart of. Little, sometimes more is too much, and little is great amount.
Sometimes less is more.
Yeah, just because it's a pay-per-view doesn't mean the Demon needs to be there. The Demon, they made the little lore. It has to be when he can't beat the guy by himself.
Yeah. See, and that's one thing that I do agree with Vince McMahon. If you really want to make him special in that gimmick, you don't have to throw him out there all the time. So you continue that. So for the next match, though, WWE SmackDown Women's Championship, Carmella defending the belt against Asuka. Jenna, who do you got and why?
Carmella versus Asuka. I've been saying it for a while that I thought Creative had a bad case of buyer's remorse with Carmella. I think that's why she carried the briefcase around for so long. I don't think they could figure out what the heck to do with her, because I think they kept thinking she was going to get better, and she never did. And selling for her is just screaming a lot. And it's exhausting. Just watching a Carmella match is exhausting. I think Asuka needs this, especially after they took her streak away at WrestleMania and then basically had her immediately turn around and flat out kiss Charlotte Flair's ass. Charlotte was ready for Asuka. Was that really necessary? Couldn't there have just been a handshake and a walk away? Anyway, I'm hoping that the Carmella experiment ends here at Money in the Bank, and I'm hoping that Asuka gets the title run that she A, deserves, and B, needs right now. So I'm going to go with Asuka.
Okay. Hoss Leonard, who do you got and why?
Jenna, you might have actually just changed my mind, because I originally was thinking Carmella, and I think she's gotten better as a worker, except for the whole, like you said, selling is only screaming thing. I almost felt like they weren't planning anything for Asuka, but like you said, the fact that now they're making it seem like she can lose at the drop of a dime, because she's lost to Carmella once or twice, right?
Yeah, once. I know once for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So I they made that streak so important, which I feel that was a negative thing to do to begin with. But I feel because if she loses this, where does she go at this point? So I feel I almost want to say she wins, but not the title, either a count out or a disqualification. I don't think they're giving her the title, but I think they're going to give her the victory.
Good point. That will keep it going too.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Be able to stretch that out possibly. I don't know if they're going to stretch it till SummerSlam, but I wouldn't put it past them to try.
Right. I mean, they put Rock and Cena for a year.
Yeah. True.
Once in a lifetime. Again.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, I
go ahead.
To piggyback off that, yeah, I think that's probably how they should have this match end for now. But after I thought that's how they were going to have the Charlotte match with Carmella and last month's pay-per-view. And Carmella just beat down Charlotte for however long it was, and then on a Charlotte accident, she gets the roll of victory clean. So I really don't know how they're going to book this match. I mean, we could just see Carmella pin Asuka.
Well,
how crappy would that be?
It'd be terrible.
I don't dislike Carmella. I don't.
Then again,
I like the character. I like the girl. But
then again, that's coming from a creative team that booked or that wrote in that they were bringing up two teams just to not do anything with them. So, I mean, it makes sense for them to do something stupid like that.
Yeah, and there's a couple rumblings that a specific somebody could be returning this Sunday.
Yeah, I heard that. That's whatever.
A couple rumblings.
James Ellsworth.
Oh yeah. Oh god. I hope not. We didn't know how that works. They could be saying James Ellsworth is returning, and he probably just got a job at the freaking arena and will be working the concession stand.
Well, he posted. I don't know. I'm sure it was a troll because I don't believe it. But he posted a poster for he's defending his intergender title that night in China, and I'm like, okay.
Well.
All right, buddy. You can't even get booked at a Chinese restaurant, much less China.
Well, I gotta say, this might be the only thing that can fix Carmella's run with the title right now is James Ellsworth, and that's that is what the problem is. She shouldn't have to need James Ellsworth to get.
Well, that's the thing. Like when Cass and Enzo came up,
fix her character, she should do it herself and stop. And I'm not trying to get all Tumblrina, but if they're really ham-fisting this quote-unquote women's revolution, stop making your women lean on men. Make them stand on their own.
See, and that's what I liked when Enzo and Cass first came up, that they didn't bring Carmella up as well, and they made her do her thing by herself, which was good, and then they immediately put her in with Ellsworth, which then she has her crutch again. And
right.
See, but unfortunately, with the rumblings going around, I gotta go Carmella wins, unfortunately, Even though Asuka definitely needs this win because, having her losing streak now, it just does not make sense at all. It just doesn't. You can't take a undefeated streak that was probably the best undefeated streak you've had in years, decades, whatever, and just automatically put her in losing matches all the time. It just
booking. Like as soon as the streak was broken, her mojo just vanished.
Yeah,
now she can't do anything right.
And unfortunately, see, when I keep saying unfortunately, but every time, before she lost the streak and we did a prediction show for WrestleMania, a lot of us said, I don't think Asuka needs the undefeated streak anymore. Now that it's done, we're taking everything that we said back due to the fact that now she technically shouldn't have lost the undefeated streak at WrestleMania.
So let me ask you this, guys, because the men and women each have one Money in the Bank, right? Like they're not doing Raw, SmackDown. It's literally 1-1.
Yep.
So what do you think the chances of the person losing this match gets into the Money in the Bank match, wins and cashes in later in the night on the Raw champion?
Oh my goodness.
Like if let's say Asuka loses this one, she gets somehow put into the Money in the Bank match, wins that, and cashes in and leaves Raw champion.
See, they could do that. They could really do that. That'd be the first time ever.
There has to be a cross-brand champion cash in at some point. Like, you've got the two brands. Somebody has to cash in on the opposite brand. Like, people want that to happen. They want to see. It's basically when Rick Rude showed up on Nitro when the day his contract expired. They want to see the person jump ship.
They want to see the unexpected.
Right.
And I agree.
And trust me, if a SmackDown person wins and cashes in on Raw, nobody's going to see that coming. Nobody's going to be expecting, oh, here comes the Money in the Bank. And you know, if they pretend to cash in on the other show, they're cashing in. They're not going to tease that more than once.
No. But I could see a Raw female winning the Money in the Bank and then going to SmackDown rather than, the next.
You think they're going to keep it on the whole Rousey situation?
Yeah, Nia Jax versus Ronda Rousey for the Raw Women's Champion. We're going to piggyback on that. Jenna, who do you got and why? And before you go, my apologies. I just read a little bit ago that they're planning this could be the main event of Money in the Bank.
What could again? Wait, what? Run that by me again?
What I read earlier was that they might have the plan of Nia Jax versus Ronda Rousey as the main event for Money in the Bank.
Just making sure I heard that right.
That really makes me think somebody's cashing in on that then, like making it a triple threat match like they did with Seth. For them to make that, I mean, let's be honest, Ronda's star power is not overpowering an AJ Nakamura match or any of the other matches, not to be a main event. I think if they would have cashed in on Ronda's star power, they would have tried to milk that at WrestleMania for Money in the Bank. If they're putting that as main event, I'm going to tell you now, my guess for the winner is going to be whoever wins the Money in the Bank match.
Yeah. I can't imagine any other reason for that to go on last. And everyone who knows me knows that I was the biggest Ronda Rousey naysayer. I didn't like the idea of bringing her in because from what I've seen of her in interviews and whatnot, I don't care for her. I think she's very full of herself, very arrogant. And I mean, I get it. She's an unbelievable athlete, so confidence is necessary. And you have to be a mark for yourself to make it in an industry like that. Either way, she's incredibly fluid in the ring. Like, I probably said that like 4 or 5 times at Mania. Just, God, she's so smooth. Every move she makes, she's just cat quick. And for her first legitimate match outside of, like a flashy, basically like celebrity involvement match at Mania, her first real program should not be with the opposite of cat quick and fluid and smooth. I have no doubt that Ronda can hang in the ring, but she's still going to need a veteran who can call the match and keep things on track, keep things going, like next do this, etc., etc. Nia does not have that kind of experience. Nia does not have that ability. I can't see Nia Jax being a ring general. You know what I mean? Like, maybe a year from now, Rousey and Nia could tear the house. Right now, Ronda needs to get more comfortable flying solo in the ring without someone to tag in. And Nia just needs to figure out how to wrestle. Period. That was terrible, but I don't know. I think the belt is staying on Nia Jax for the time being, but that could change depending on who wins the women's Money in the Bank and what spot on the card they have.
Well,
I'm sticking with Nia.
Well, before I let Hoss and OJ and me do the prediction, there apparently the reason why I'm going to say this is because this might change your pick. Apparently, Ronda Rousey, her contract is up in January instead of it being an actual multi-year contract. So they might be cashing it, pun intended to Money in the Bank, cashing in on the Ronda Rousey experiment this early, and that could be the reason why she's in this match now.
See, I read that she signed a few-year deal, so I'm reading different. But yeah, I'm still going to go by, I think the Money in the Bank person's going to cash in this match like Seth Rollins did, and I think whoever it is going to take out Nia Jax. Long shot-wise, if this is going to happen, I see it either being Asuka or Charlotte, and the only reason Charlotte would be the third factor in this is because ever since Ronda came to WWE, there was that rumor that they wanted to have Charlotte versus Ronda at WrestleMania, and this would be easy to build that feud.
Yep. And this would be basically...
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
And the reason I say Asuka could do that, one, because then she doesn't leave empty-handed, and two, around the time when Ronda came as well, she was doing the armbar, nothing but armbars, and all of a sudden she stopped doing it. So I feel that either of those two options, I feel, would open the door for that, the year rivalry, and I feel they have to give Ronda a year without the title so she can, get her grasp, because she's not going to be there every week. She's got movies and other stuff she's doing, so they don't want the woman champion there as long as Brock has been without it. So they don't want that stigma, and it'll help Ronda get better. She'll still be in the feud because she'll be the chaser at that point, and then I think at WrestleMania is when Ronda actually gets the strap.
Yeah. Okay. OJ, what do you think?
Yeah.
So, I do think that Ronda will probably win. My idea is that Ronda wins quickly, like she used to in the UFC. She wins quickly by armbar. Nia Jax gets pissed, beats the shit out of Ronda, takes her out completely after the match, and Natalya wins Money in the Bank earlier that night, comes up to check on her friend, realizes the opportunity she has, cashes it in, wins the title.
Ooh.
So we both definitely sound like we think there's going to be a cash. And now we've all put our opinions except for we've put our opinions. What do you think the chances of Ronda trying to put that armbar on and then they do the stupid spot where Nia just towers on top of her 1, 2, 3 instead of the tap, or that stupid pin submit finish, like where it's at the same? Do you think that's a possibility or no?
That's a good idea to protect her, yeah.
Right. See, I'm so mad that I came up with what I said for my answer, because as great as it is, I'm like, there's no way creative will do that. So now I'm like trying to think, okay, what are they really gonna do?
It'll be Ronda wins in 5 minutes, and then there's a 20-minute celebration. And the pay-per-view.
Yeah. Stay on the network and continue to watch this.
Yeah, watch Talking Smack or whatever the after show is.
Oh my god.
I wish that would come back, by the way. It just helps build feuds and stuff like that. I gotta go Ronda Rousey. I think if what I read earlier is true, then you gotta jump on this Ronda Rousey train fast, because if you only have a few months with her right now, then you have to. It wouldn't make sense for her not to be in a championship match, or at least be able to get an opportunity to run with the title. But at the same time, I don't see Ronda Rousey leaving after January either. So.
Yeah, she has nowhere to really go afterwards.
No, and one thing I have to say is the only thing that kind of hurts Ronda Rousey winning right now is Nia Jax really is the only one that I could see even putting on a big good fight against Ronda Rousey right now in that Raw division, because there's not. I mean, Sasha's good, Bayley's good.
Sasha doesn't have the mean streak. Let's be honest. They've watered Sasha down so much.
And Bayley.
She doesn't have the mean. Yeah, they don't have the mean streak to compete. I mean, yeah. Let's be honest.
It's just It's the only issue that I have. Nia Jax is the only legitimate threat to even beat Ronda Rousey. I think a lot of people are saying, oh, if this is the main event, I'm going to not watch because it's going to be a terrible match. Ronda Rousey had a really good match against Stephanie McMahon in the tag team match at WrestleMania.
They booked her strong that night.
And she did.
And she was surrounded by people who knew exactly what to do to make her look like a star.
Yeah, they're not going to put her in a spot, especially main event spot, to look bad.
Skill set.
Well,
they probably went over that match for about 3 months too.
Oh, I guarantee.
It was definitely
absolutely, yes.
I think it's going to be a good match. I think Nia Jax is going to be able to do it. If Stephanie McMahon can make her look good, then Nia Jax has to prove that she can do that.
Yeah, but I mean, honestly, one thing the McMahons can do is they can make an ass whooping look good, and that's Vince, Shane, Steph. They can take the beating and make it look good.
Yeah. Stephanie has her dad's gift of getting that brutal nuclear heat on herself, and then getting the absolute dog crap kicked out of her, much to the delight of fans. She plays off that begging off heel like just brilliantly.
Yeah, I agree with all of you. I gotta say, you guys are spot on when you say that a Money in the Bank can cash in and be added to the match. That's the only way you can, make the women. Because look what happened with the Money in the Bank with when Carmella had it. It was lackluster.
Yeah.
You have to really overcome this hurdle with how poorly booked this Money in the Bank was for the women last year. So the only way you can legitimately make it look strong and good is to do what you guys predicted. So, but moving on to Roman Reigns versus Jinder Mahal, even though I technically really don't want to predict on this match.
Why is this match happening for real?
Yeah.
It's a long enough card as it is. It's not for a title. Because they've screwed each other a few times. This is a Raw match. Let's be honest.
Mm-hmm.
It could have happened.
This is a Raw main event. Yeah.
Could you imagine if they put this on last? That would be just hilarious.
Oh, people would definitely leave. People would leave in a heartbeat.
People would take their beach balls and go the hell home.
If they leave in the middle of a match of Roman Reigns versus Samoa Joe, then they will definitely leave during this match.
Yeah.
This is the piss break match.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
So, who do you guys got? Jenna first.
God, I got a big steaming pile of don't give a crap. Honestly, I think it's going to be Roman. I don't think a loss to Roman will hurt Jinder because he's just kind of floating around in that when WWE doesn't know what else to do with him, lose when WWE doesn't know what else to do with him. He doesn't seem to be on any specific trajectory at this point in time. So, yeah, I wish I had more insight than that, but yeah, I think Reigns is going to get the win just for the sake of Roman Reigns getting another pay-per-view win.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm going Reigns just for the fact that, from what I read, Brock's contract's up after SummerSlam. There's rumors saying Roman's getting one more shot, and why not start the momentum for this? I mean, this match means nothing otherwise, but why not Roman?
Right. Got to make Roman look strong.
Right.
Does it make Roman look strong?
Logan, you're going to be able to edit out the sarcasm, right?
Right here, live on Future.
Oh no. I think just as long as I haven't cussed when talking about wrestling.
Oh man, OJ.
Yeah.
Do we all want to cuss right now? Yes, we do.
I mean, we just all want to skip this match, I think.
Yeah.
OJ, I'm gonna give you an answer. I'm gonna give your answer because I already know your answer. See, that's terrible when you actually can answer for everyone else. But this can go either two ways, right, OJ? A, Roman Reigns wins. B, Roman Reigns wins.
It's true. Yeah, the thing is I like Reigns. I have, but they've mishandled him so much for 3 years that I'm at the point where I don't care.
Yeah.
So, obviously. I'm hoping this doesn't go more than 5 minutes, but seriously, please, Spear, just get it over with.
That laugh.
You know this is going 15-20.
Half an hour.
Easily.
Right.
Iron Man match. Oh, man. And also, during this match, it can either go two ways. The Ranjin Singh wannabe is going to get speared too, and Jinder Mahal gets speared. And
well, like, this match is so bad that even if Roman lost the match and, like, Jinder won, nobody would get excited. Nobody would show any. They wouldn't care. So why give them the big win? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you're not going to shock people in a match that nobody cares about. People aren't going to get excited in a match that nobody cares about.
Yeah. See, like I said, it can go either two ways. Roman Reigns spears both of them, or look at just A. Okay.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, but. I don't think we can even say anymore because it's just lackluster and boring.
Yeah.
But moving on to, I think it's going to be a match of the night. It can be a match of the night candidate. Bobby Lashley versus Sami Zayn.
Bobby Lashley versus Sami Zayn. Oh boy. I'm sure when Bobby Lashley re-signed with WWE, he was like, oh man, I'm gonna get to work at the top of the card again. And
you know, on TNA I had 3 titles at once, right?
I was pretty much the dominant mofo over there in TNA.
You know, I do real fighting, right?
WWE, and they're dressing up dudes in dresses.
Yeah.
Saying they're my sisters.
I mean, that in itself just shows how little, like, they don't care about Bobby Lashley.
At all. It wasn't. Signing Bobby Lashley again had nothing to do with building on what he's built for himself. It was Vince McMahon thumbing him in the eye for going somewhere else and making something of himself when Vince couldn't.
So, Logan, if you can't tell, I mean, I'm at least putting out my vibe on who I'm going for, and I'm sure Jenna is too, but
I'm pretty sure Lashley's gonna win. That's what sucks, is they've shot all over, and they're still gonna make Zayn put him over. This is the most ass backward.
Yeah, I mean, as much as I want Zayn to win, because why
He's
not?
not gonna. Yeah, they're gonna
as bad as they're talking shit. You know, they're just running Bobby through the dirt and everything. Sami Zayn,
he's gonna get beat bad.
He's just like Dolph Ziggler. he can outwork the guy, but the fact that the announcers are so far on Bobby Lashley's nuts,
at this point, they're even counting pubic hairs.
Yeah. Hope that doesn't get demonetized.
Well, we've said some worse things there also. Literally. I'm gonna say
I've made a few off-color jokes in my short time as a member of the wrestling or future entertainment family. I've made some inappropriate comments.
I want to say this, and then I'm going to let you guys actually do your prediction, OJ. I read on Twitter, okay, and a lot of people criticized what they just did on Monday Night Raw with Bobby Lashley doing the
obstacle course.
Yes. They criticized it, saying, "Oh, this is the stupidest thing I've seen," and all this other bullcrap. And I straight up said, "No, it's not." And you want to know why I say that? The reason why I say that is due to the fact that I believe that every fan I've that I've seen comment on social media says, we want something different. They give you that and you still complain. You still bitch and moan. Okay? They gave you something that can at least make the feud more relevant, at least.
It definitely made Sammy look strong, but it made Bobby, I think, look stupid.
Yeah.
Like, for him not to even expect it would happen, like, I saw it coming as soon as Bobby went first.
Yeah, exactly. So,
But
the crowd and the fans really want something different. They give you that. Stop complaining. Just watch
no, the crowd wants something to bitch and complain about.
They always. As they gave you what they're giving you what you want, and you're still bitching about it. So that's on you. That's on them for complaining. I gotta say, I think this can be a good match. Bobby Lashley is a really good talent. I don't personally want to see Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam. I would much rather see Bobby Lashley get that #1 contender match against Brock Lesnar and finally do that match that's never happened, and a lot of people wanted to happen back in 2007. So, OJ, Hoss, Jenna, who do you guys got?
I think Lashley's gonna squeak by with the win. I don't want it to happen. I think Sammy should win just because I think he needs something since him and KO split up.
I mean, he's a really good heel. Don't get me wrong. But yeah, Bobby Lashley was squeaked by, but I don't want to see him. I don't want to see him destroy and dominate in this match.
Well, see, that's the thing. If he's even going to be in the conversation to somehow take Lesnar on, he has to start destroying people.
Yeah.
Like this, just squeaking by against Sami Zayn thing, he's not even in the talk. So if he's going to win, he has to brutalize and just destroy Sami.
See, and yes, that's true. But at the same time, we all want to see Sami Zayn succeed because he is also reinventing himself as a heel rather than what he did
and
with
doing
the
a
face.
good job with it.
Yeah.
Oh my God, he is so entertaining as a heel. Like he got real stale as a face. As
the
a heel,
reading glasses bit. Oh my God. Like I've said it 2 or 3 times now, but like watching him work as a heel, I said to myself, I see why he and Kevin Owens have been best friends for so. You can just tell because they're both sharp, smart, funny guys. I bet they ran up and down the roads together as indie guys, just absolutely slaying each other, laughing.
Oh,
you know, their senses of humor is so simpatico.
Yeah.
Both really smart, and I'm a big believer that to be a really funny person, a really clever person, that's indicative of intelligence. You've got to be able to think on your feet and word association and puns and whatever else. You've got to be smart and sharp to be that clever. That's just me, though.
And another thing that I saw criticism of is when fans were saying, why do they gotta mention Bobby Lashley's Marine past? Well, first of all, to make any feud more entertaining and more, what's the word that I'm trying to find? There's
something that
personal.
More charismatic, personal. More magnetic.
Yes, more personal and stuff like that. You have to mention somebody's background in his past. And see, why criticize something like that when a person in their character, I know Hoss is going to agree with me on this, sometimes using, real life past things actually helps the character and the person in the long run.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, it's not like they're using something fake that's wrong and has never happened before. They're using something legitimately, personal to Bobby Lashley to make the feud work. So, I know you guys agree with me on that. And that's not me being cocky, but OJ, who do you got?
The hard-hitting, soft-spoken Bobby Lashley.
And his actually, my bold prediction: the headband wins.
Oh my God, I hate that headband.
It just squeezes the life out of Sami Zayn right there.
I mean, in all honesty, it probably could.
It works better on Chad Gable.
It just holds Chad Gable's fabulous bangs at a nice angle.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I'm jealous of Chad Gable's hair. Like, that dude is rocking it.
I'm a woman who is in cosmetology school and does hair and makeup for a living, and I'm jealous of Chad Gable's hair.
Jenna just wishes people would come in and be like, "Can I get the Chad Gable?"
I'm very upset that Chad Gable's not on this card.
Yeah, that's wow.
I'm very upset that no one's ever come into my salon and asked for Chad Gable. I didn't even know how bad I wanted that.
Logan, we need to go down to Alabama, go to a salon and be like, we need the Chad Gable. I don't care if I'm completely bald, do it.
That's what wigs are for, lady.
Right.
There's two talents on Monday Night Raw that I'm really upset that's not on the card. Drew McIntyre and Chad Gable.
And speaking of Drew McIntyre, you know, they're teasing they want to do a big push with Drew and Dolph, and then to get them eliminated, didn't they get eliminated first in that tag team thing?
Yes,
like,
they did.
Yeah.
Like, why even have them in it? If it's not their time, fine, but don't put them in just to get destroyed immediately
By unrelevant
right, don't make
teams.
them cannon fodder.
Doesn't get it. I don't get it, and it just makes zero sense for everything that WWE does sometimes.
Right.
Drew McIntyre is a future world champion, no doubt about it. I would put my life on it that
the fact that he went from what he was before with the Chosen One, he got jacked. I mean, how is Vince not having wet dreams about this guy? He's, what, 6'3", 245 of muscle?
I'm going to look it up.
The genetic jackhammer should be going nuts about this guy.
I mean, he should be wanting to rub his grapefruits for Drew McIntyre. So everybody agrees that Bobby Lashley is the man to win this.
Yeah, in this match, yes.
Yeah.
Alright, I'm going to look up Drew McIntyre real quick, and then I'll go back to actually, let's do this. Alright, the next match that we're going to talk about is Daniel Bryan will be taking on, again, Big Cass. It just makes no sense for this match to happen again, since he lost within 5 minutes. But, hey. Who do you guys got?
Hey, for me, this is a match I feel Cass has to win.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Daniel doesn't get anything for winning. Give the big guy at least the win, because otherwise you might as well kick him, just ship him back down to either NXT or just gone. See, if he doesn't win this match, it literally proves he can't get by without Enzo.
I don't think he can get by without Enzo.
No, I mean, I don't think he can either, but it proves he can, and I don't think WWE's ready to get rid of their big man yet.
No, and he should be a bigger star than what Test was back in 1999 and 2000. See, that's funny, the Test always comes up some way, in some fashion, on the show. Literally.
He's a great boy.
And by the way, Hoss, Drew McIntyre is 6'5", 265.
Oh, okay.
2 inches off, but dang, that's still tall. OJ, Jenna, who do you got? I think Jenna said you already picked.
Big Cass versus Daniel Bryan.
Yeah.
I love Daniel Bryan, but Big Cass needs this win, just like they've already said. Like, Big Cass needs this win. I have a hard time even wanting Big Cass to win, though, because it seems to me like his entire beef with Daniel Bryan is that Daniel Bryan didn't grow to be as tall as he did? Like, I used to be short like you. I used to be small like you. And then I grew.
Yeah.
Are you jealous that
congratulations. Biology exists. Good for you, dude.
Are you jealous that you're not short?
Yeah.
Or are you jealous that Daniel Bryan's more relevant than you? I think that hits it right on the dot. But OJ, who do you got?
Are you jealous that Daniel Bryan's been out of commission wrestling for 2 years and he still wrestles circles around you?
Damn.
Yeah, you don't want to be 7 feet. That's just awkward. That's just everything in life becomes inconvenient when you're like above 6'6". Maybe that's why he's so mad. Maybe that's why he's mad at Daniel Bryan.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Big Cass has to win this match.
Maybe
otherwise. What were you gonna say, Logan?
I was gonna say maybe he's jealous that his relationship actually didn't last long.
Oh. Yeah, no. If Big Cass loses again, they've definitely got no faith in the guy, and we can pretty much write him off as being anything in this company.
I say Daniel Bryan. I don't think they had faith in him before the match, the very first match, because if they had faith in him, they would have at least gave them time in that match instead of Daniel Bryan making him tap out within 8 minutes.
Do you think he's going to make him tap again?
Yes, I do.
Wow.
I think it's even going to be a shorter match, too. Because I think this Money in the Bank actually has at least 4 more matches than what the last pay-per-view had.
So you were about to say there's 4 more matches from here. I'm like, are you kidding me?
Seriously, right? No, like, are you serious?
No. I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't go that far.
I was going to say, I'm definitely not watching.
See,
eventually we're going to have to start clocking in before WWE pay-per-views. Like, do our shift.
They're like, oh, you guys want to wake up at 3 a.m. to watch New Japan. You're going to stay up till 7 a.m. watching this.
No, I will say this, and I know I'm right when I say this. I know it. When Big Cass returned on that SmackDown Live, they should not have booked him to confront Daniel Bryan in the back. They should have at least just have him big boot Daniel Bryan in the main event and have that unexpected return. And then when he did that big boot to Daniel Bryan, I legit tweeted saying Big Cass is a future world champion. The only reason I said that was because it made what he did, throwing him in a match with Daniel Bryan, in a feud with Daniel Bryan, to me makes you relevant. It makes the fans think, hey, the higher ups see something in this guy that we don't yet. Well, unfortunately.
Well, I mean, we all know Vince loves the big guys.
Oh, yeah.
And,
right.
I mean, they've obviously in the past shown they have some, faith in the guy for putting him in that Fatal 4-Way match when Kevin Owens won the Universal title.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's not like the first time they've shown they had faith in him. And I just don't think they're ready to, cash him out yet because I feel they've invested too much time trying to make him, he's not gonna be their next big guy, but I think they need him to be a transition until they can get their next big guy.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah. But I gotta say Daniel Bryan makes him tap within 4 minutes. Just calling it.
You think he's gonna? Okay, I'm gonna actually jot that down. You think he's gonna make Brian's gonna make Cass tap within how long?
4 minutes.
That was your chance to change it, bud. You could have bumped it up to like 6.
No, I'm saying 4 minutes.
Man, you really don't think they have any faith in him. Just look at it this way though. Look who he's facing though.
Yeah.
Yes, his contract is up in September, but WWE's proven they don't want Daniel Bryan to succeed in their company also.
Yeah.
Sadly, it's ass backward booking, and
ass backward booking is the reason Austin Aries is now TNA champion.
And ask
And not-
Backward Booking the reason why Neville's going to be leaving.
Yep.
See, at least I do have a little bit of a mind in the wrestling business. A little bit. Alright, next match on the card is, I'm going to throw it to the Money in the Bank for the women's. Ember Moon, Charlotte Flair, Alexa Bliss, Becky Lynch, Natalya, Lana for some reason, Naomi, and Sasha Banks. I said for some reason. Jenna,
You
who do you
did.
think?
I'd like to see Becky Lynch win it, but I think to keep storylines progressing, it's going to be Natalya. I think she's going to keep things going somehow with the Ronda Rousey thing.
I think that would be a great choice, especially to turn Natalya heel again for some reason she's face. It would make storyline wise it would make a lot of sense. But do you really think Natalya is a big threat?
Absolutely not.
I
Her
mean,
time, I think, is limited, honestly, to where she's going.
she may have been a threat when she was, with Beth Phoenix, years ago, but not now. No, unfortunately.
She's a crazy cat lady now.
Yeah, crazy cat lady. Hey, Natalya, if you're listening to this, I have kitty cats on my porch if you want them.
Natalya, if you're listening to this, can you follow me on Twitch? Thanks.
Yeah, I was going to say, Natalya, if you're listening to this, I'm a lifelong Bret Hart fan and have adored you since the Matt Rat days, and I'm about to go on a freaking spiel in your defense. Here we go. Okay, WWE has done nothing but piss on that girl's foot and tell her it's raining since they signed her. She, at the time of her signing, was the only third-generation women's wrestler on the planet. She is a graduate of the Heart Dungeon, something that is never coming back, something that doesn't hold the attention of fans like it once did, but it's definitely something that could be built up and explained to younger fans, and it could be explained why that's prestigious, why that's a big deal, and why she is an absolute badass for surviving it and training there. They have all of these tools at their disposal to put her over as this unbelievable, unstoppable, ass-kicking chick. And instead, they paired her up with the great friggin' Khali and made her poot at people.
I was just gonna say she was awesome until they started that fart gimmick where she
exactly.
And for some reason
she never deserved that.
Man, see, Jenna just knows how to put over a talent.
Well, no, like honestly, when she debuted with she debuted with the Hart Dynasty.
Yeah.
When they debuted, she was dominant. And someone in creative thought it'd be funny to do this to her when she did not deserve it.
Vince McMahon's typical toilet humor.
Yeah.
Oh man, she's a kick-ass talent. What does she fart?
Right.
What's a burrito?
Yeah. She definitely deserved better.
Wait.
And the stench, I mean, no pun intended, but the stench of that flatulence angle still hangs over her.
Right.
Think about it. Every time someone brings up Natalya, someone immediately, oh yeah, they made that poor girl poop. Yep, it sure did.
Big time. Alright, so Jenna picks Natalya. Who do you got, Hoss?
I'm going to go ahead and say if Asuka gets in the match, I'm saying Asuka. If she doesn't get in the match, who all's in it?
Ember Moon, Charlotte, Bliss, Becky, Natalya, Lana, for some reason, Naomi, and Sasha Banks.
So, first of all, this, for some reason, shit, do you not remember us saying earlier, sex sells? We need something to look at.
They're all smoking hot. She's just another body to get thrown around the ring to make talented girls look good, is all that is.
So who do I think should win it? So I don't think Naomi's gonna win it because she won. She won something big recently. I can't.
She won the Battle Royal at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
The Nobody Invitational / Memorial.
So she won that. I don't think.
Well, let's go through the list so maybe we can help.
Yeah.
Answer.
So
Lana's
I don't think
not relevant.
Hold on. She's on my back burner, and I'll tell you why. So Naomi's not going to win because she just won the big WrestleMania thing. I don't think Sasha, Becky, or Charlotte are going to win just because they came in that group that kind of passed it around already. I don't think Bliss is going to win because I think they want to give someone else a shot at the title. So really, realistically, it would come down to Ember Moon or Lana.
And Natalya.
Or Natalya. Oh, God. You know, just because I feel the fans would pop for it, I'm going to go ahead and say Lana. I know you don't like that pick, but I feel Lana. Just the fact that they're hyping up this whole Mr. and Mrs. Money in the Bank, I think they would play that angle.
It would make sense because Lana, you know, if you can,
the fans love her.
Yeah.
She can't work worth crap, but I mean the fans love her, and I don't know. They've made worse decisions.
Yeah, they have. OJ, who do you got?
I made my pick earlier. I think Natalya's going to win it, and cash in that night.
So we have a Natalya, and Lana, right?
Yep.
This is hard.
Yeah, see, it's not so easy when it's your turn, is it?
No, it's not. I want to see. My heart wants to see Ember Moon win it, but my head's telling me it's got to be Becky Lynch.
Becky Lynch is the one I want to win it. Yeah. She's so overdue.
Becky seems like the type of person that if she's not in the title hunt, they really have no idea what to do with her, and that's a shame.
Because right now, when she's not in the title hunt, they literally just have her eat the pin in every single match she's in. It's ridiculous.
And not just that. Yeah, she was the very first SmackDown Live Women's Champion, but she didn't have it long, so she's overdue an actual run with the title.
Yeah, she is.
I don't think she should be face. I think she should be a heel. I think it would be badass for her.
I think they just don't want to turn her heel because then it's like, oh, you're foreign, then it's hard to keep you face. So I think that's why they're keeping her face for so long.
Like I said, when you go down the list, I don't think Lana's a bigger threat for anybody right now. She does still need to work on some things, but she's getting better. She's getting over it. Fans still love her. Naomi, she just won that Battle Royal at WrestleMania. Sasha Banks, been there, done that.
She's got whatever she's doing with Bayley going on, and I don't know where that's going.
Yeah.
Like, that is such a slow burn.
Eternal, cluster, you know what,
Yeah, it's like, do we want to turn them heel? Do we not want to turn them heel? Do we want Sasha to be the heel? Do we want Bayley? It's like, you guys need to make this decision because it seems like they're making the changes weekly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Alexa Bliss, like I said, been there, seen that. Charlotte Flair, same thing. Ember Moon, still fairly new, so I wouldn't mind seeing her. And Becky Lynch, like I said, she kind of deserves a better...
She deserves it. It's just I'm really starting to lose any hope that WWE has faith in her because, like Jenna said, if she's not in the title hunt, she's getting pinned every match, and yeah,
unfortunately.
Yeah.
All right, well, I guess we can move on. We're going to do the Intercontinental Championship match next. Seth Rollins defending against Elias. I can see this match stealing the show.
Oh yeah.
Anything with Seth Rollins right now stealing the show. He should have that gimmick and not Dolph. That's kind of funny thinking about it. But go.
Now I know Seth Rollins has the ability to steal the show. Any show that he's... I don't believe that Elias has that possibility or has that skill set. The crowd loves him. They love his, quote, concerts and all of that. But when he gets in the ring, nothing about his in-ring work stands out to me. Like, I can't remember one single solitary match. I can remember him sitting on a stool and singing, or trying to. I can remember him carrying a guitar around, but no, I have no memory of one single Elias Samson match, or Elias match, whatever.
I'll be the first one to say this. I think this match has been thrown out there with Seth and Rollins versus Elias too quickly, because I think Elias can have that ability to be a champion. I could say this right now. Elias, I think, is a legitimate threat. This is the only match I can say that actually has a legitimate reason to say, hey, Elias could win. You know, because he is over on the mic. He's over with everything that, you know, his gimmick. So, I gotta say Elias. For Seth Rollins, it's too soon to take the title off of him because of so much hype that he has carried, and just in-ring style and everything that he's doing right now is just phenomenal. No pun intended to AJ Styles. But Seth Rollins is on a whole nother level, and this is going to be one of my favorite matches to watch.
Yeah, so I've read a lot of different rumors online. I've read Dean's going to come back and screw Seth. I've read Dean's going to come back and challenge afterwards. I've heard Seth is going to go after Brock and take the title, which I don't see that happening, but with the role he's been on, I could almost see it being played out. I don't know. Like everyone said, Elias is so over on the mic. His match work, not so much. I almost feel like they would give him the title just to see if it can push him into the next step. So I'm just gonna go with Elias just to see if it's his time. I could see it going either way in this match, honestly, but I almost, just the fact that I'd want Elias to get his first title is enough to push me over.
I want to see, like I said, it's too early for Elias to be in the championship match. I think this could be a SummerSlam match, I think, personally, even, unless it's Dean Ambrose. So, but I'm going Seth. Jenna, OJ, who do you got? I think, Jenna, did you pick? You picked?
Yeah, I got to go with Seth Rollins. Seth. I do, yeah.
What about you, OJ?
I'm thinking Elias. I like the idea if Seth, or Dean's coming back, that if he screws him, maybe they turn Dean heel. Be kind of fresh for him. I mean, I hope that this is positive for both of them, where it propels Seth into something bigger and better, and we get to see an Elias mid-card title run.
And can we all just say something where, why is the Intercontinental title not like it used to be, where if you won the Intercontinental title, you were going to be the the main champion at some point? They need to put it back to how that used to be.
And I think that's why they probably have it on Seth as of right now. They're trying to bring some prestige back to it. So maybe it is a little early to take it off of him, but yeah, I'm going to pick Elias. And I will say, because I didn't get to say this, at Backlash, Elias's segment was the only thing that I enjoyed that entire night. Just saying.
Really?
I don't even think I watched that pay-per-view. Yeah, I don't even.
It was terrible.
I don't even think I was aware that pay-per-view was on till like 9:30, and I'm like, yeah, I'm good.
I even got up because I usually live tweet pay-per-views, and I was like, okay, grab myself a Mountain Dew and some snacks, and I was like, okay, I just got to turn on the network.
I couldn't even tell you one match that happened at Backlash, honestly.
Never did.
Besides, the only thing I know is probably an AJ Nakamura match, because they've been doing that nonstop, but other than that, I couldn't tell you one match.
Yep. I will say this, my final thoughts on this match. Seth Rollins, I think, will win it, yeah. But I don't think if Dean Ambrose were to come back, I don't think the feud needs the title in the picture on that. But at the same time, I think it would help benefit the Intercontinental Championship itself to have a personal feud, something that has gone back for years now, and to have Dean Ambrose come out and do what, being a heel, I think it would help the title, even though it doesn't really need to have the title involved.
Not necessarily, no.
But I guess we can move on to the WWE Championship match. Shinsuke Nakamura versus AJ Styles in a last man standing match.
Oh boy.
So
AJ Styles.
This is sadly one of the matches I'm not looking forward at this point. As great as it is, and these two, I know AJ never puts on a bad show, or he has the ability not to, and Nakamura is up there as well. But they've thrown this feud so far into the ground. I do not care at this point.
Yep, agreed.
It's just another case. WWE dropped the ball on that one.
Oh yeah, definitely. And
instead of letting these guys do what they do, they wanted to make it an you-know-what show.
Yeah, because, and my answer is going to also fall into this. But they act like they couldn't have, 4 or 5 matches where there was legit winners here and there. They had to have these BS finishes, which is why I think specifically it's going to end in a double draw, double count out type thing. Neither man can get to their feet, and then at SummerSlam, that's where they're going to do the no disqualification, no count out. There must be a winner stipulation at SummerSlam, so I think it's going to end in another draw.
Oh, I don't want to see it continue.
I don't think this feud can handle another non-finish.
Well, we were just talking about a pay-per-view that I can't even name one match that happened on. Their creative team has it in them to drag this down even farther, but that's what I honestly think. It's going to be something stupid, just so it can be like it was with Brett and Shawn with the Iron Man match, where they're like, no, there has to be a winner, because shit just kept happening.
Yep, Gorilla Monsoon is going to come back from the grave. There has to be a winner.
Right. Yeah, so I just see it happening.
Yep, I agree. But, OJ, who do you got?
I think that there will be a definitive finish. I think that AJ Styles will win, and I think that that'll be the end of the feud, because I do not think that the WWE will ever put the belt on Nakamura, unfortunately. I think if it didn't happen at Mania or the Rumble or the Greatest Royal Rumble or Backlash, it's just not going to happen now. I don't think they have faith in the guy.
I don't know if it's a matter of not having faith. I think it's xenophobia.
Yeah, that's English. That's exactly what I'm saying.
Okay.
Vince, he doesn't like the foreign champions.
Mm-mm.
Or the ones that can't, But the thing is Nakamura is not bad on promos. I mean, you can understand. I don't know.
Take the mouth guard out and you can hear him.
Yeah.
Yep. Jenna, who do you got?
I've got to go with the AJ. AJ's in a rare position of being brought in, never got dragged through NXT, kept his name, kept his look, kept his moveset, and has pretty well been protected by the WWE machine. And I think they have a lot of faith in him as a big dog going forward. They're going to keep that title on him.
Speaking of dogs, can we all just be grateful that AJ did end up joining the club at that one point? Because remember when he first came into the WWE, they kept calling him the fucking pitbull, AJ Styles, and he's just a mean pitbull. And they weren't going off the phenomenal aspect at all until the club got together, and they let him be AJ Styles. Like, just imagine how different his character, if he'd be in the WWE, if they continue that Pitbull gimmick and he's a vicious little guy. If he wouldn't have been able to step up and be the phenomenal one that he actually is, he would have been another Austin Aries, and he would have been back in the Indies, I think, in a year.
Possibly.
Possibly. Definitely something to think about. All right, well, I gotta go AJ Styles. I don't think they have faith in Shinsuke Nakamura. I don't think... I kind of have to disagree with OJ. I don't think Shinsuke Nakamura is that good on the mic. I mean, he's okay, but I don't think he's good enough to be that champion.
I mean, you
didn't like the no speak English thing?
No speak English.
Who was the last quote-unquote Japanese heavyweight champion? I mean, if we're going by character, was it Yokozuna?
Was it Yokozuna? Yeah, it must have been Yokozuna.
I mean, he was Samoan, realistically, but, like, gimmick-wise, he was Japanese. Has there been any since then?
Nope, I don't think so.
No. And what was that? What was that, like, 94? 95? Something like that?
Something like that, yeah.
Exactly.
That is nuts.
That is insane. That's insane.
Well, when Yoko won it?
Yeah.
Yeah, he won the 1993 Royal Rumble and went on to win the WWE title, I think. Yeah, it's like 93, 94.
That's nuts.
But even like who was the last, like major like Asian star to be challenging for the world title since then?
No.
I can't think of one.
Like anytime I think of an Asian, I'm thinking of Kai and Taka and
exactly, mid card or Joe. Yeah.
And even they were just played for jokes. They weren't. Yeah, they weren't seen as contenders as it was.
Exactly.
They wasn't taken real.
Good way of getting that Asian group, Vince.
No kidding.
Everybody's gonna love Kung Fu Naki.
Oh my god.
Or Kenzo Suzuki dressed in that ridiculous red, white, and blue pantsuit. What possesses Vince to do the things that he does? What
about the Lord Tensai or whatever Albert did?
Yes.
When he came back? Like,
well,
are you kidding?
The fans literally just yelled Albert.
Right.
Nope.
Like,
maybe not Albert. He wore it on his face. Clearly, it's not him.
He got run over by a moped. This isn't Albert. Albert was terrible.
Right.
Yeah, and then he beat up his Asian butler or whatever that guy was. Yeah.
Oh, that gimmick was so bad.
Well,
and of course, their solution to that was to have him wear lingerie and dance.
Right. Oh my god.
Yeah. How can we save this gimmick? Put him with Brodus Clay and the Funkadactyls.
All right, final match. Money in the Bank match for the World Championship contract. Braun Strowman, Finn Balor, The Miz, Rusev, Bobby Roode, Kevin Owens, Samoa Joe, and then to be announced, Big E, Kofi Kingston, or Xavier Woods. I'm going to actually throw it to Hoss Leonard because
thank God
he's got a really good opinion.
So this year they've obviously broken 2 records as it is. They've had Brock Lesnar break CM Punk's stupid title reign, whatever, and then with the whole 50-man, it was 50, right? 50-man battle royal they did. So right now goddamn echo. So right now the most men they've had in a Money in the Bank has been 10 men. So I think what they're going to do, just so they can pass the record, and just because they're stalling so much, I think all 3 members of the New Day are getting in this match. I think they're going to make it an 11-man match, and they're going to keep all 3 in. I think otherwise they would have told us by now.
That's a good point. That's actually a really, really good point.
See, I threw it to Hoss, and he gave a really good prediction. But the biggest prediction is, who do you predict to win the match?
Oh, Casey, this is where it gets hard.
That's what she said.
Oh. Literally, because she said that's what she said. See, this is going to be one of those matches where there's so many guys you want to win versus they're not going to pull the trigger on it. so I'm just trying to get a list of everybody who's in this stupid match.
I know. Braun, Finn, Miz, Rude, Rusev, Samoa Joe, and I know I'm missing more.
Braun Strowman, Samoa Joe, The Miz, if predictions right, Big E, Kofi Kingston, Kevin Root.
Right, I wrote Bobby one Roode, of the New Day.
Rusev and The Miz. Finn Balor. So there's plenty of guys.
So this is definitely something I would love to see The Miz win. I don't think he was ready for the title when he first won Money in the Bank. You can't find many superstars more over than this guy right now. And the pop that would happen when he cashes in, I think it would probably be louder than it was when Ziggler cashed in. I don't think they're going to give him his second one. I'd love to see Kevin Owens cash in, just because him with the briefcase, I think, would be the most entertaining TV possible. But
oh God, that'd be great.
Right. I don't think it's gonna happen. I don't think Braun's got a chance at this. Honestly, his cash-in ability would just be so boring.
It wouldn't make sense either.
No, it wouldn't.
He's too big of a big man to even put that briefcase on him.
Yeah.
Unless you're just going to legit use that and say, hey, I want to challenge this guy one-on-one. I'm not going to be a bitch and do it that way. The Miz is a perfect choice.
I would love to, honestly,
want the Miz, yeah.
That is who I want to win. I don't know, this is probably the hardest one, because you've got all these guys like Finn Balor, oh, I'm gonna beat Brock Lesnar. No, you're not. Sit down. And then I'm not saying whoever. I don't think whoever wins this is gonna cash in on Brock. So I don't see that happening.
I don't think any of the Raw guys are gonna win.
No,
this.
Yeah, I was gonna say you can almost take Raw off the table completely. Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Miz. I want the Miz. From SmackDown standpoint, I don't think they're going to do the New Day, because even like I said, even though it would help the whole let's separate the New Day angle, they haven't done anything to lead up to the whole let's break them up. So I don't think they're ready to do that yet. The Miz, as awesome as it'd be to have Kevin Owens tease week in and week out about cashing in, I think the Miz has to get a second run at the title soon.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he is white hot, and ever since he cut that half-shoot promo on Daniel Bryan, the guy's been fire. So I'm going with Miz.
Good prediction. Jenna, go ahead.
All right. I want the Miz to win it. That is who I'd like to see. Because, yes, he had a run as WWE Champion years ago, but he was not ready, and everyone knows he was just a placeholder for the Rock Cena debacle to be launched. Mm-hmm. Be that as it may, he is, if not the best talker on the roster, damn near at the top of the list. He has improved himself by leaps, bounds, and light years, and he deserves a legitimate opportunity to have a run, and it would make sense because he and Maurice have that show coming out in the Miz and Mr. Or whatever it is, Miz and Mrs. or whatever, it would just make sense to really boost all of that up and promote. But I know how WWE is, and they'll probably just get Braun Strowman. He'll week in and week out have to pull it off of really tall things.
Mm-hmm. So who do you got, Jenna?
I said The Miz.
The Miz, okay. Wow. All right, OJ. Last.
Yeah, it's gonna be The Miz. I think they're definitely gonna give him the briefcase, and then they're gonna build to something down the line with Daniel Bryan.
Oh my God, that would be such an awesome feud.
Now, could you imagine if Daniel Bryan down the line wins the world title, and that Miz says he's
immediately screws him.
No, I was thinking he says he wants to cash in and beat him at Mania.
Oh, so call a shot.
Yeah, and then basically Miz is interfering so he can eventually face Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania.
The match that we were supposed to get instead of the whole. We won't even go into that match.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go down the line. Braun Strowman doesn't need the Money in the Bank to beat Brock Lesnar, in my opinion. Finn Balor, he could use it right now because he definitely needs something unique and a win, a big win to help establish, get back on track. The Miz, perfect choice. Definitely somebody that definitely deserves it after everything that he's done for the company. He needs that big time. Rusev, they're pushing for like Hoss said earlier, the Mr. and Mrs. Money in the Bank, but you already know it's not gonna happen now because they even mentioned that. Bobby Roode could definitely need it, but not as a face. He would have to.
I was just gonna say, as heel Bobby, yes. Face Bobby, no. And back to the whole thing you said about the Miz needs that title run, dude. WWE needs the Miz as Money in the Bank. They need that excitement week to week.
True. Very true.
Like either him or Kevin. They'd be the entertaining ones week in and week out. Is he going to cash in? The others, no, they're not going to be entertaining. Like, yeah, people would pop if Rusev would cash in and win. I don't even think they would pop if Braun would come out with it, like the cash in. They'd be like, oh, look, here's Braun. And Bobby Roode.
Wouldn't be mad about it, but yeah.
Yeah, like Bobby Roode, He's just not he is such a better heel than a face, and I mean he proved it in NXT how good he was. He was, I mean, if I can use the pun, he was glorious. They need an entertaining person to be able to cash this in. They need somebody the fans want as champion.
True. Buddy, can I have my notebook? My dog just came in late on my notebook. I take all my notes. I'm like, buddy.
Well, I don't think any of the New Day's going to win it. Kevin Owens would be a perfect choice again as a heel to do that. He would be almost right down the middle with the Miz on that.
Kevin's on Raw, right?
Yeah.
Do you know how amazing it would be if Kevin Owens won and he goes in the night after and says, I want to cash in on Lesnar? Wait, what do you mean he's not here? I want to cash in. And just constantly do that? That would be so... that would be a funny way to keep Brock off TV. Kevin's like, what do you mean? I have a contract. And, that would just be so funny. Since, you're not going to see Brock till 2 weeks before SummerSlam anyways.
The last guy that's on the list is Samoa Joe. It's gonna go down to two ways. A, the Miz wins the Money in the Bank and cashes it in on AJ Styles the same exact night. Or B, Samoa Joe does the exact same thing the Miz does and wins it. And starts a feud with AJ.
Oh, dude, WWE... That's one of those things that WWE needs the Samoa Joe AJ Styles feud, but look what they've done to AJ Styles Nakamura. If that happens and they feud, they cannot kill the feud like they did that. The matches they had in TNA, holy hell. That's one of the reasons I started watching TNA was AJ versus Samoa Joe for the X Division title.
Yep, you're right. But if I had to pick... I'm going the Miz too. I want Samoa Joe to win, but I gotta go with the Miz. It's a perfect choice. it can start many feuds with AJ and then Daniel Bryan. It's just no brainer. And if they don't pull this off and make this the main event, then they really don't know what they're doing.
So this is going to be a dumb question, but I am drawing a complete blank. Who's the United States champion right now?
See, that's sad that
Jeff Hardy.
yeah.
Is it okay?
Yeah.
And he's not even on the
I was
card.
going, wait, it's Randy Orton. Wait, no, it's not. No, it's not.
I was like,
yeah.
I cannot remember who the U.S. champion is.
And they didn't even put him on the card. I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing Jeff Hardy defending.
Is he injured?
I don't know.
That would be great, actually.
I think they were holding off until his court stuff settled out.
Oh, right, that's right.
Oh, right.
I wanted to see him defend the title against Shelton Benjamin.
That'd be a decent match.
We've seen it before, but Shelton's really good.
Dude, Shelton, he's gotten better since he left, but they're not doing nothing with him. Like, I hate WWE creative. Like, I hate him so bad.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, it's the same thing. I think I say it every single podcast I'm on, but the problem is that it's a creative team helmed by and run by and staffed with people who have never worked in wrestling.
Exactly.
It's washouts and wannabes from TV and advertising and movies. It's not the wrestling industry. They have zero idea what makes compelling wrestling content. They have no clue how to book a story week to week with character development. Most of these people know how to do is basically stuff like The Big Bang Theory, and nobody wants to see that crap.
Right.
Yeah, I Well, I guess this can wrap it up for the Indie Interviews with Hoss Leonard, including Money in the Bank and NXT Takeover Chicago's prediction show. I'm going to throw it to you guys to plug yourselves again. I'm going to throw it to ladies first again. Jenna, thank you for being a co-host all the time. And let the good fans know.
It's my pleasure. I appreciate you having me and wanting me to do this because I love doing it. You guys can find me on Twitter. I am Miss Jenna _Lee. You can also find me on YouTube. I am Jenna Lee's Beauty Slam, the internet's girl next door, and the home of lipstick and chick. I do little mini daily vlogs over on Snapchat. I'm Cute Cat Lady. And of course, you can find me hanging out with Logan and the gang at Future Entertainment and every Saturday night over on Grapple Vision doing Saturday Night Myers. That's it. Yes.
Thank you. And great fans, please go check Jenna out right now on her YouTube, Twitter, and all that good stuff. I'm going to throw it to Hoss Leonard. Thank you, sir, for coming on for the Indie Interviews. I know it's been a long podcast, so I do want to apologize for that.
No, Logan, I've had such a blast tonight. I definitely enjoyed myself. If Future Entertainment would ever want to have me back on the podcast just to sit around and talk, I would love to be back. But the fans can definitely check me out on Twitter or Instagram at HossieBomb. I do have a Facebook fan page, HossieBomb. You can view my website, which is HossieBomb.com, just to see some old videos, pictures. The barbed wire match is up on the website, I think. And then it also has my schedule of what my next appearances. My next match is actually Big Bear Lake in Brewston, West Virginia, July 1st, the day before my birthday, and I will be in a $1,500 body slam match against 6'7", 375-pound Hyde. So that'll be fun. And of course, hit me up on Twitch, which is twitch.tv/HossieBomb.
Thank you, Hoss Leonard, and most definitely would like to have you back on any show that you would want to do with us. Maybe we can have you on for the NXT Takeover post-show.
Yeah, sounds good.
Sounds good. Woo-hoo. And again, ladies and gentlemen, OJ and me have the big announcement. We will be doing the Morning OJ with Logan Myers starting this Saturday morning, actually, right, OJ? Give the fans
that is right.
The information on that, and also where they can check you out on Twitter and all your social medias.
You can check me out on Twitter at OJDeJuice. Juice is spelled Jewce. Tentatively, Logan and I are going to do a show this Saturday morning. Logan, what time are you thinking?
About maybe 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning, Eastern time.
9 o'clock sounds good. So 9 o'clock Eastern, and I think we're going to be talking about our top 5 underrated, top 5 overrated WWE pay-per-views.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Don't forget to mention check that out. And also tomorrow night we will be doing live once again the old school $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase and Ric Flair. So don't forget to check that one out, and it will probably be about 9 p.m., 9:30 Eastern Pacific Time. For everyone here, Jenna, Hoss, OJ, thank you guys once again. Everybody in the chat, once again, thank you all for tuning in, and we will see you back here very soon. Have a good night, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank y'all.
Holla, 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 holla.
I will be back, guys. It's not letting me end the thing for some reason.
Oh no, we're gonna podcast forever.
I'll have to turn the laptop off. Hopefully it works.
This is the cast that never ends.
I'll be back.
Yes, it goes on and on.
Do you want me to call you back or no? Oh, they already left.
Yeah.
All right, Jenna.